Travolting presents Bobbin' for Robin. Hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. With special guest, Ange Gardner.
I've never heard you be so sweaty and having to fit the whole title of the movie.
And I mispronounced it. It's Julie Newmar, but I'm going to keep that in. I'm going to keep it in.
Definitely the longest title we've covered, right?
Yeah. To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. It's a tongue twister, and I didn't rehearse.
It's near. I'm doing a quick cursory overview of our schedule for the past 3 years, and I think that's the only title we've had that didn't fit in the Excel box.
Ooh, and that's a good way to measure.
With the exception of a Travolting Christmas 4 Epcot Candlelight Procession.
Yeah, but that was like intentional. Or Magnificent Desolation, Walking on the Moon 3D.
It fits.
It does fit, but it's another long title.
Julie Newmar adds more syllables.
It's the fact that there's like To Wong Fu, comma, Thanks for Everything, exclamation point. There's a separate sentence within the title.
They pitched a bunch of other titles, did they not? It was like To Be a Lady.
Yeah, but I'm glad they stuck with this title.
Yeah.
I think it's the better title.
It's also the center of the film, right? That's what the film is about.
It's so important. And it keeps its title, I think, mainly because of the executive overseeing this movie, who goes by the name Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Who is notorious for defending titles that directors want for their movies.
Yeah.
Because they tried to rename Back to the Future many times, and he kept being like, no, it's called Back to the Future. Stop.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bobbin' for Robin.
Yes.
We're here joined by special guest Ange Gardner.
Welcome
everybody.
back from... Ange taught us how to make an American quilt, and now she's going to thank us for everything, Julie Newmar.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for joining us last week for 9 months.
Yes. It's been
wasn't that a great episode?
It's a good episode. It's been 9 months since we talked about that movie. No. Yeah. But, Ange, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Have you been on since we had the board?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't love it. I think I made that clear last time, but I love that you love it. I love the board for how happy it makes you.
So, and something I'd like to do whenever you're on the show is just start.
Whenever me specifically.
Whenever you specifically, with other people too, but you specifically, is like start things right off by like when we pick who we're going to do next. We kind of just text all of our like recurring guests and like, what do you want? And usually people like it turns into like people want Hook, people want
the big hitters,
like the big hitters. Mm-hmm. And I've always really cherished your specific input in this. That you always pick a movie that basically no one else asks for, but you always find a deeply personal connection to it. Mm-hmm. Starting with, I'm trying to think, what did you do for Travolta again?
I did Bolt.
Bolt.
I started with Bolt, and I talked a lot about, I think, the animation industry, but I did a lot of research for that as well. I came in with a lot of new information.
Yeah, because then you did The Scout, and like you brought a lot of like baseball kind of interest to that. And then How to Make an American Quilt, I think you just picked because it had quilts in the title. But then you found like so much like of an emotional undercurrent in that you related to. Mm-hmm. And so I'm drawn because I remember I basically was like, we're doing Robin Williams. And you said, oh, can I have To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything? And I was like, have you seen it before? And you said, no. What was the reason? Like, how did you know this movie?
I knew this movie. This movie comes up a lot on the lists of comfort gay films that people watch kind of to feel connected to the gay community if they can't be there right now, right? Yeah. I think a lot of people watched this movie when it came out in the 90s and felt a lot of importance. It's something that I felt like I heard a lot when I talked to people who were gay and older than me. Yeah. Where it was like, this is a good movie. It kind of goes in the same group of like, but I'm a cheerleader. I know Paris is Burning is in there as well. So I knew I wanted to see it for that. I also recognized the title from that list. And then I also go into I think I'm kind of on the B or C tier of people you text, right? Both of you have partners and people who have like been on the podcast a lot. So usually by the time I talk to you guys, like my first, like the Robin Williams movie that I would be so excited to talk about is usually Taken, because that's like the movie I saw when I was a kid. And I do pride myself on being kind of the trash collector of like where you wait and then I go, what movie has no one taken? What can I watch that nobody wants to see? Which was The Scout. Nobody wanted to talk about The Scout. And I now see why. It's not that great of a movie. But I knew that this movie would get picked up, I think, if I wasn't specific enough.
Yeah.
So I got to go in and be like, hey, I've done a few episodes. I do want to like throw in this movie I would want to see and then talk about, because I've been looking for a reason to see it for a long time.
Well, I'm glad we were able to give you that reason. And like, first I just want to say you're like one of the first we contact after immediate partners.
Which I do appreciate.
Yes. Because we enjoy having you on the show.
Now I love being here.
Yes. But the thing, like when I first saw the title of this movie, because like I put together the Excel sheet and I listed all the Robin Williams movies and I go through IMDb and the Wikipedia, and I was like, is this like a bit? What is this
did you
title?
not know this movie existed?
I never heard of this movie before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Neither
And
have
so
I.
like
Yeah.
I'm just like looking at the bit and I'm like, to Wong Fu, thanks for everything. That's just like the full title of the movie. And it just like really caught me off guard. And then what I fell a little behind in like my plans for the weekend, so I had to get up early this morning. And I watched this with a friend of ours, Mark, guest of the show.
I did the same thing. I didn't watch it with you, but I had to wake up early and watch it in my own home.
But we Mark and I watched it this morning, and just like, what a lovely little movie this is. It like, I obviously know it has like historical significance that I'm sure you've talked about and we'll talk about, but like it also just like purely on like the pleasure of cinema level, it's just like it's a really nice time just watching this, especially in the morning with like a cup of coffee. It's just like it's a movie that has pleasures to it. Like it's enjoyable. It's simple and yet precise. I just really enjoyed the experience watching this morning.
It's also a movie about people learning to enjoy themselves. And so if you go on that journey with them, I felt full of, love and hope watching this movie.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful movie.
And like I didn't know what this was about until like probably a few weeks ago when I started like researching it a little more, just because I knew it was coming down the pike. And I'm like, oh, so this is, a lot of importance in the LGBT community. And specifically, it wasn't one of the first films that like featured drag queens in a real way. And then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, this is going to be like a road trip comedy. And it very quickly decides it's not going to be that. It settles into place for a while, which was off-putting at first. But I think the end result that it gets to is quite perfect for its goals.
Yeah, it's a clean movie. I was reading a little bit about the reviews of the movie, and I think a lot of people critiqued its predictability. But I also think, especially in the 90s, you get a lot of, like fairy tale movies or movies that have predictable plots for straight people, right? For certain kinds of demographics. And it is like, I think a lot of people talked about how exciting that was when Love, Simon came out, where it's like, yeah, this is a dumb romance movie, but how many of those do we have for gay people, right? Like how many of those do we have that show people like us? And so that was something that was really exciting for me. I knew nothing about the plot when I went in. And even as I was watching it, I was like, I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on what's going to happen. But I'm one of those people that's like, I hate the idea of a movie not ending happily. So when like the villain was introduced, I was like, oh, can I curse on this podcast?
Yeah,
I can't. Yeah, sorry. It's like, oh, fuck, someone's going to die. Someone's going to die and it's going to be a lesson. And I'm going to have to sit here and listen to it. And that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, I leaned into it's like, because I also had no idea what the plot of this movie was going to be about either. And so it's like, first off, like the road trip aspect of it, right away, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to understand like what the structure we're about to get to in this. Like they're going to go on zany adventures and there's going to be like interesting like pit stops along the way. And then they find like the small town. And I thought, okay.
We'll
Like
be here for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. But like, again, maybe it's because it's got like that 90s charm to it that like I didn't mind like the typicalness nature of it. And also like to the point that you even said, Ange, it's like we don't have a lot of these typical stories for that community. And so I think the atypicalness of it was that it was like 3 drag queens on a road trip.
And like the trans representation in cinema, like this is 2 years after Silence of the Lambs, which
Good point.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs, great movie, but like the Buffalo Bill character in that movie is a very troubling representation of a trans character.
Yeah.
To this day. And it's like kind of a stain on that movie's legacy that I think a lot of people have. And like it's so like cartoonish and strange that it like can play the disconnect card enough. But like it's still, you watch it and you're just like, this is unsettling.
Yeah.
That this is how we were portraying trans people in cinema as recent as 1992.
Yeah. And I think also something that I have heard a lot in conversation is how many times do you want to watch your own trauma?
Yeah.
How many times, because, gay and trans people live that experience.
Yeah.
And they also, a lot of people live the experience that they talk about in To Wong Fu Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, right?
Yeah.
Like, driving by your house and when your mother sees someone who maybe looks like you going back in the house. Yeah. How many times do you want to see that in a movie? And how long do you want that to be how other people see your community? So movies like this are super fun. Movies like this are super interesting. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't have other movies, right? But super fun. I really liked it.
So we haven't really mentioned his name yet because his role in the movie is so small. But Stuart, is there like any Robin context for this?
So it kind of goes into the broader context of how this movie got made. So this is written by Douglas Carter Beane, who actually originally envisioned this as a stage play. But then like I can almost imagine like you think, okay, but this is a road trip script and I don't know if that would translate very well for the stage as it would for the screen. So they decided to turn it more into a screenplay.
It's the only movie he ever writes. He's like a Broadway.
Did you see they in 2017 did make it into a musical, premiered in 2023?
I didn't. I saw that they were discussing one, but I didn't know it actually happened.
Premiered in London in 2023. And the tagline was "Make America Drag Again."
Very
Hell
good.
yeah.
Very, very good.
I mean, I think the writer had held on to the rights for the screenplay. Like he had gotten rights to do it as a screenplay immediately when they made the movie. And so I think he was sitting on it until it was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And I think he did it with his partner.
And then, so then Douglas would then go around and start shopping this around Hollywood. It would land on the lap of Mitch Kahn, who is a development executive at Amblin, notably Spielberg's production company. And so Kahn then passes the script to Steven Spielberg, and the story goes is that Spielberg and Robin were on a flight, and he had.
Do we know why? Like, were they doing a movie together?
I mean,
During
this
that
is
time?
95, and
After Hook.
It's well after Hook, but I can almost imagine like.
Is Hook a Spielberg film?
Yes.
Were they doing press for Hook?
I don't think so because this is 4 years after Hook was released.
4 years.
I think maybe they were just like they could have been like on their way to a production that Spielberg was producing and not directing, like because
They also just could have been on the same flight. It is LA, right?
Yeah, I mean,
there's
like-
only so many flights that go out of LAX to New York or wherever they were going, right?
Did Spielberg have any hand in like Jumanji or Birdcage? Or Jack?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm just thinking like maybe he could have been on a flight with Robin for one of those movies and he wasn't just a director, but he also could have just been on the flight with him.
Maybe going to the same wedding
Yeah.
or funeral.
But then, so he talks to Robin. He's like, "Yeah, I just got this script. It's called To Wong Fu Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. It's about 3 drag queens going on a road trip." And he's like, "Oh, like, do you want to do a reading?" And so Robin did like a very deadpan reading of the script on the plane, and Spielberg loved it. Immediately wanted
You
to.
said deadpan?
Like it's written that he did like a humorous cold reading. Like he's just doing kind of like a very like.
Well, cold reading is just like first.
Yeah,
time.
cold reading means
okay.
you've never seen it before. So
Okay.
I think he was handing it up.
oh,
Was
okay,
the point.
copy that.
The exact quote is that Spielberg was mesmerized.
Yeah.
Well, who
Robin's
wouldn't be?
Performance
Who
of
wouldn't be?
This whole movie.
And I mean, this script does seem, I think at first glance, like a perfect script for Robin. But I was thinking as I was watching the movie, and after I read that, there is no role for him there.
And
Yeah.
he would agree with you on that because after reading this, his first thought is like, I'd love to be in this. But when he looked at like the 3 leads, he thought, well, like if I play any single one of those 3 leads, I feel like it's going to be like distracting. It's going to be like the Robin Does Drag movie, which is funny because then he would later on do Mrs. Doubtfire.
Which was the Robin Does Drag movie.
Which
right?
was the Robin Does Drag movie.
Not wrong, but very different movie.
Or actually, I'm sorry, Mrs. Doubtfire was before this movie. So he had already done the Robin Does Drag movie at this point. But either way, he said like...
and he's going to follow this up with The Birdcage.
Yeah.
Which is like the Robin, like very specifically...
Is a drag king, and that's...
runs a drag club in that movie.
And so he opts for a small cameo, but when the script finally goes into development under Amblin, it gets passed through a lot of few directors who pass on it until I'm going to try to say their name right. Beeben Kidron?
Yeah. Did you click on
Kidron?
Beeben Kidron's Wikipedia?
Not yet.
Because you click on Beeben Kidron's Wikipedia,
I'm
expect to
doing it
find
right now.
film director page. It brings you to Beeben Tanya Kidron, Baroness Kidron, is a British politician. And it turns out she's just segued out of film directing and is now just in the House of Lords.
Did she get married into it?
She's a Lord Temporal in the British government. Trying to figure out how she got appointed to the House of Lords. There's not much information about it. She married a playwright.
Oh, so it's by blood or by merit.
Her father is Michael Kidron, who's a British cartographer.
What the heck?
We're still hiring cartographers at that point? We ran out of Earth. We ran out of Earth in the 1880s.
Baroness Kidron sits as a crossbench peer in the United Kingdom's House of Lords. She's an advisor to the Institute of Ethics in AI at Oxford University, a commissioner for the Broadband Commission for Sustainable Development, and founder and chair of the Five Rights Foundation.
So this was a side quest.
This is just
something fun to do.
Extremely accomplished woman, seemingly in like the political structures of Great Britain.
Did she direct before? Has she done other movies?
Yes.
She had done...
She started in documentaries in the 80s.
So she's an activist. That's super interesting.
Yeah, well, she spent a year at the Greenham Common Women's Peace Camp during an anti-nuclear protest and made a documentary about that called Carry Greenham Home. And then she transitions in the late 80s, 88, to her first feature film, Vroom, starring Clive Owen. She would later do a lot of BBC TV work. But I know in terms of her connection to this movie, I don't know how she finds out about the script.
I read she begged Spielberg.
Yeah, that's the story that I heard as well. That she would come later to find out that there's a script that Amblin is developing, and that she begs Spielberg to let her direct
What's
it.
really likely, I imagine, is that if every male director had declined it, which is what Spielberg said, so we asked every male director around and they all said no, they all go to the same parties, right? Somebody's standing around going, I just got offered this script. It was the wrong script for me. It was just 3 drag queens on a road trip, and you're a political activist, documentary filmmaker looking to make a big movie, and you, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're telling me Steven Spielberg will give me money for this?
Yeah. Historically good guy for directors.
Yeah.
Please. I would have. I've also gotten jobs that way, right? Where you just hear somebody else talking about a job and you run across the party.
Yeah.
And you go, please, please.
Please, I'm available. Here's my card. But she begs Spielberg for the opportunity to direct this, and he gives it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she sticks with the movie, and he defends the title for her, and they keep the full title.
He offers to direct for her when she's pregnant, right? She gives birth right after the movie.
Yeah.
She holds out the whole time.
She's pregnant for the entire run of production, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because this has a 4.5 month long shoot, which you don't expect for how kind of contained the movie is.
Yeah.
There's some big scenes in there, though. I mean, the movie doesn't look particularly expensive, but there's definitely stuff that happens. And also, I can't imagine the costuming and the makeup, right? How much can you get done in a day legally?
Yeah, with just how much work, those 3 main actors, it requires a lot of, they have a lot of makeup on.
And the 3 leads would actually go on to say the toughest part about that was getting in all that hair, makeup, and costuming at the beginning of the day.
You guys remember when Ant-Man and the Wasp came out? And I don't remember her name, but that actress was in an interview and she said, I've been hearing my whole time in Hollywood that these MCU actors have the worst costumes. It's so terrible. It's so uncomfortable. And I got here and I started wearing my costume and I was like, do I have the most comfortable costume? This isn't that bad. And she said, I realized when we were on press that all these guys were wearing khakis and sneakers and that they're not used to wearing heels and makeup, right? That I just do this as part of my job.
Yeah.
And that they've never, it's not common that they have to be so uncomfortable.
They're not used to wearing a skin tight, like
So,
spandex suit.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure sitting in hours of makeup is really tough. And I also don't think that drag makeup is particularly comfortable because it is caked, right? There's a lot of it. Like, I've worn fake lashes. They're not easy to wear if you're not used to them. It's, one extra aspect of the art. But it is interesting, I think, where it's like by far the toughest thing was doing something that drag queens do 8 shows a week. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. As an actor, it's so tough.
Yeah.
It's tough out here.
And like Wesley Snipes did Blade. Like, was that comfortable? Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
And to the point of where
Ostensibly, Wesley Snipes did Blade.
that they filmed for 4 months. I know they filmed a lot of these places on actual location.
Yep.
So like the
Yeah,
New
it's
York
in
unit
Nebraska.
was in New York, and when they go to that small town, that's actually in Nebraska.
That sign is still there. Did you see that?
Yeah, that the town still has that sign there, which is great. And the title sake, or I don't know, Ange, are you aware of like where the title comes from?
Yes. Wong Fu, or I think it was like Fui, was the lead bartender at the China Bowl, which was a big gay club in New York. But I know this is based off of, they saw it at a restaurant and they pulled it. But I know that Wong Fu in the movie represents God.
Yeah, right. And that, so like, yeah, and we've already said this, but like there were a lot of attempts to change the title. The two that were mentioned on the Wikipedia is like Ladies Night or She's a Lady.
Yeah.
But
they did change it in Norway, right? They changed it to like Pretty in Pink or something along those lines. But that could have been a translation thing.
Interesting. I didn't know about that. But yeah, and like in a good Spielberg fashion, like they kept the title the same. And the only thing I'll say is like they did film another scene where they provided more context on like the title, but ended up getting left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah,
which I don't think we need though.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I was thinking when I was watching this movie, there's some scenes, and I know we'll talk later, but especially with Chi-Chi and Bobby Ray at the end, where I felt kind of the hand of the editor, where things had been pulled. Like there were scenes there that weren't in there anymore. And I thought that was interesting, especially for a 2-hour movie, right? This is an hour 47. This is not short to begin with. Like, it's not a tight 90, you know? So I can't imagine how long the script was originally, because I don't think you can pitch this movie longer than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was something I was thinking about second half of the movie.
Yeah, and that makes sense in terms of like them trying to like keep it to a certain length. In terms of casting,
Yes.
so Noxima in Chi-Chi's role, Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo immediately said yes and get locked in.
Yeah, Chi-Chi Rodriguez was written for John Leguizamo.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And
The golfer sued. Chi-Chi Rodriguez sued.
I heard about this.
That's why they
but
have that at the end.
I didn't like look at like why. I guess because like they had the same name, Chi-Chi, and that was
No, his name is Chi-Chi Rodriguez.
oh, the full name was the same.
I think that's the joke, right? Like her name, because I think usually drag performers pull their names or alter them in some ways, right? Like Rachel Tensions, right?
Interesting.
So I assume that was the joke. That also could have just been, Chi-Chi's a cute name and Rodriguez is a common last name. I don't really know that part of the story. I do know he sued.
Interesting.
I do know he sued. And I don't know if that's why they have that piece at the end, if that was added later, or if that was there before and he still sued. But they settled on like undetermined terms. So they didn't go to court.
Interesting.
This is like for Leguizamo. This is like his like big upswing period. He's about to do Romeo plus Juliet. It's the next movie he does. He's already done Super Mario Brothers, Carlito's Way.
Oh my God, he's in that movie. I totally forgot that.
He is Luigi.
He's Luigi?
He's Luigi.
I watched that movie in high school, and
Were you on cocaine, or did you feel like you were on cocaine watching it?
God, I wish I was on cocaine. No, I was not on cocaine. I feel like I have to say that in case my mother listens, but I do not remember that movie very well, and I don't think I could ever watch it again, which is a shame because I like John Leguizamo a lot.
He's great, and he's like so perfect for this movie.
He really, I was surprised, especially for the 90s. I guess I shouldn't have been that surprised because I saw Wesley Snipes in Major League, and it's like, that guy can do it, right? Like, he's got it. And then John Leguizamo's always in it for the bit.
John Leguizamo and Patrick Swayze kind of makes sense in this movie.
Not Wesley Snipes?
Wesley Snipes, like, notoriously has a really big head on his shoulders, and is kind of like very difficult.
I think that plays into the character, though, right? Like that makes a lot of sense.
He's a, for lack of a term, he's a guy who's always like does like, I am not going to do anything that's going to make fun of how cool I am. And so I find it very interesting that like he decided to do this movie. Like, I think it speaks well of him. Because, you know, this movie, when it first came out in like a general reception, like, I think it still kind of had that like, oh, this is the funny drag queen movie is coming out. And that's the thing where it's like, Wesley Snipes, like, from my conception of him, doesn't really fit with this. And it does make you think like, I wonder what it was that drew him to this. And also, is my perception of Wesley Snipes wrong?
That's interesting. Yeah. Is he not the person in Major League that I think he is?
He is in Major League.
Yeah. Yes. Have you seen Major League?
I have not.
He's not cool in that movie. It might be earlier in his career.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was his first movie, but it might have been up there because Charlie Sheen's like one of his breakouts. Not his breakout, but like one of his early movies. I wonder if that was later. I wonder if later he said, I'm not going to do anything that doesn't.
Because by the time he gets to Blade 3, he refuses to shoot any scene in which his face is not in it. And he has a stand-in to his entire performance unless it's a close-up of his face. Is like kind of the level he gets to where he's like, Wesley Snipes just doesn't do anything. Is that a
Blade thing, though? Because if you're shooting Blade 3...
You are shooting Blade 3.
Yeah, like I don't... Yeah. Like, personally, I'm a big lover of the art of the craft. I think if I was in Blade 3 and my time was worth a lot of money, I would be like, listen, don't bring me on. Do not pay me to have me there if you're not going to use me.
Yeah.
Is Blade 3 also the one where he like didn't want to open his eyes at the very end, so they CGI'd his eyes opening?
Yes. That's also the one where he like verbally like assailed Ryan Reynolds for the entire production.
What year was that?
2003.
Yeah, so this is 10 years later.
And then like
8 years later.
like 20 years later, they put him in the new Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds was like, I forgave. And it's like, whoa.
Damn.
Anyway, but he and John Leguizamo sign on immediately, and then it's like kind of they cast a wide net for Vita
Boheme.
Yeah, I looked at the list of names if we want to read them. Some of those names I felt like could do it. Some of them I did not.
It's like such a classic. Like
it is.
Who
every
the fuck
single
thought Tom Cruise would do this? Who the fuck thought Tom Cruise could do this?
Someone who just watched Interview with the Vampire.
I guess so, but that's a very different movie.
Yeah. Mel Gibson in this role.
This is such a classic. Like, other male actors considered were list every prominent male actor in Hollywood at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably called a lot of people. And I know that everybody in the list on Wikipedia did go through a hair makeup test. So they gave it their all. Johnny Depp could not have done this. Love Johnny Depp. Big fan. Big Rango fan. I mean, don't love him. I realize you can't really say that in this day and age. But like
Rango good.
Rango's really good.
Love him in Rango,
well, I also think he's kind of like Robin Williams, right? Where it's like you're really good at an over the top, like a very fine point on comedy kind of character. Vita Boheme is not a comedic character.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is, I would say, the least comedic out of the three, and she also represents a very specific part of drag, a very specific section of the culture that is kind of the predominant part of the culture right now. So like that is a very certain type of person who exists in a very certain type of way.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp ain't gonna do it. Like he's not able to do that.
And I think I'm sure that had Robin expressed interest in doing it, like playing Vita Boheme, I feel like he would have played that role. If Robin had been like, "Hey, Steve, I really enjoyed reading the script. I would like to play that role." I'm sure that like
maybe
I keep forgetting.
I don't know if the writer would have let him after they had done screen tests. If I'm honest, and again, nothing but respect for Robin Williams, but his role in this movie is the exact role that he can play for this movie.
But I think it's just like, because I have a lot of we obviously have a lot of respect for Robin Williams that we've learned through this show.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to be like, I hate Robin Williams. It's like on the Bobbin for Robin podcast. That's crazy.
But I think like what I find so respectable is like he loves the script. Clearly, he's like, Steve, this is great. And he's like,
Steve.
First name basis.
And he's like,
Stevie. Can I call you Stevie?
He's like, I would like to be involved
Berg.
in this, but I absolutely cannot play this role. I have just done Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, that is all people will see
Yeah.
when they go to see the movie. But I would like to still be involved in it.
Yeah.
And they throw him in like a fun, silly little scene.
Yeah. John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith.
They
John
don't
Jacob
credit
Jingle.
him, which is crazy. I thought I was going truly insane watching the credits at the end. Like I was frame by frame skipping through and going, "Wow, I can't read."
Yeah.
We've
It's
run
gone.
into this through a lot. Robin does a lot of cameos, especially for like friends or people he admires, and he tends to go uncredited when he does them.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want his name to be like the selling point of any movie.
He doesn't want to overshadow anything. He
Yeah.
just wants to be a part of the show.
Yeah.
I guess so, but I was surprised putting like the back end credits shouldn't be that big of a deal, especially because we put credits on the end now.
Because like he did
Now.
Baron Munchausen, he goes uncredited. Portrait of a White Marriage, he's uncredited. He's uncredited in Shakes the Clown.
Yeah.
He's uncredited in A Wish for Wings That Work.
There's probably a better reason for it than what I'm thinking. There has to be some SAG reason probably where maybe he didn't get paid the amount that he would have had to if it was union and then you can't credit him.
I earnestly think it's just that he didn't want the credit. Like you can go uncredited if you just don't want it.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense if there's no downside or upside, right? Like why not just put your name at the end? I guess if it's a moral thing.
It's just something he's done a lot where he just like is like, I just want to be in it. I don't want the credit for being a part of it. I just want to do a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like this is like the 5th time he's done this. Especially the craziest one is Baron Munchausen, where he's like the lead character for like 25 minutes of that movie, and he just goes uncredited because he's like,
I would put my money on a union thing just because he like his face is in it and he talks and he's Robin Williams in it, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not like they put him in a funky nose and glasses and we're like, who could this guy be?
Yeah.
Right? It's so clearly him.
he's also frequently gone by fake names in movies.
Now that's slay. And,
Yeah.
and that is funny.
What was that fake name that he went for?
Ray D. Tudo. And
Yeah, he
Baron
went by
Munchausen.
Ray D. Tudo. He went by
And, pseudonym.
he went by
And,
pseudonym. What was the cheese one that he did?
Richard Cheese.
No, he went for like some fake. It was in Shakes the Clown. He went by a name like of a type of cheese. Do you remember this?
No.
He goes by like a cheese. He names his character. He goes by the credit of a cheese,
Like Gouda Brie or something
like
that.
Gouda Brie or something is like playing this role.
Tony Manchego.
Tony Manchego. I'm trying to remember. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think they ultimately settle on the perfect casting for the lead role of Patrick Swayze,
Yeah.
who was so incredible,
Yeah.
was such a gift.
Deserved the
Rested.
Oscar nomination. I didn't know he was a dancer in Texas. That's what I learned after watching this movie. You guys know that story?
That he did ballet.
Yeah, so he was a ballet dancer, and then he got the part for many reasons. One of them was his walk. He had himself dressed as a woman and then walked with the writer or maybe the director to prove he could pass as a woman, and it was his walk that sold it because
Yeah.
he has dancer's grace. He also delivered a 30-minute improvised monologue about being a boy who wanted to dance in Texas.
Hell yeah.
Like how he doesn't like perfectly understand, but he does understand kind of what's happening in this movie.
Yeah.
Because like this is only a few years after Ghost and Point Break, which is like, I mean, he's obviously had done Roadhouse prior to that, but that's like the Patrick Swayze like year of Patrick Swayze.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Point Break Ghost like double?
Yeah.
And so he's a top player in Hollywood.
When is Dirty Dancing? Before this? That's 80s,
Before
right?
87.
Dirty Dancing is like 8 years before this.
Oh, yeah.
Because like Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse, and late building up to the Ghost Point
Yeah.
Break year.
Let's say Ghost, Point Break, Roadhouse is in a 3-year span. Like Roadhouse 89, Ghost in 90, Point Break 91. Mm-hmm. And then 4 years later, it'd be in this movie.
And
So he took a break. Good for him.
I really like that. He goes all in this. Like they all do, but I just feel like Swayze is just like really committing himself to the discipline of playing this role.
Yeah, I mean, the opening scene where they're all getting ready together. Because again, like I went into this movie very blind to not really know. Like besides like just the tagline of the movie, had no idea what I was kind of installed for. And then the opening sequence of them getting ready, I was like, and it's sold by their performances on that. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Like it gets you hyped for what the movie's going to be. And yeah, I think like the three of them have a great chemistry together. like I'd say especially like John Leguizamo and Patrick Swayze, like and like the kind of mentor student role. I think I texted you, Jeff, like the 5 laws,
4 steps of queenliness.
the 4 steps of queenness. That I'll find at some point later, but
the slow reveal of them.
yes,
Well, they're not real.
I know they're fake, but like the reveal of them.
Well,
is
they're like they're
perfect.
fake in the movie too. They're just making them up as they go along.
yeah.
But they are very satisfying.
It
when
is
you
very
get them.
cute.
Especially when you get to the. When did you send this to me? I'm scrolling like through mountains of text right now.
Yeah, well,
When did
I'm
you watch
sure you
this
guys
movie?
talk a lot.
I watched this 2 days ago, so whatever happened between like 2 days ago and today, which I'm assuming was a
Yeah.
lot. I think I watched Conclave in the middle there, so
Yes, you did watch Conclave.
we talked a
Wow.
lot about Conclave then at that point.
Big Conclave energy. Everyone should watch Conclave if you haven't yet. This movie faced, before we start talking through the plot, this movie faced some adversity in like production. We talked about how it was a long shoot. They struggled with like in some places to film this movie due to the subject matter. Like they tried to film a scene in a McDonald's and McDonald's shut them down.
I know Pepsi Cola did too, right?
Pepsi shut them down. Coca-Cola agreed to product placement.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But they had to cut a scene that was supposed to be set in a McDonald's because McDonald's was like, we're not associating with drag queen movie. Not in the slightest.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Which is funny, like looking back 30 years on from this movie, how like RuPaul's Drag Race is like basically the biggest show in the world.
They're not sponsored by McDonald's though.
They're not sponsored by McDonald's. This is
Right.
true.
Right.
But just the way that culture has shifted in such a substantial way since the release of this movie.
Not that substantial.
I was going to say, like, the thing that my takeaway of this movie is like watching a movie like this in '95 and seeing like what the culture was like at the time, and then seeing like how things have changed for sure, but also how much things have not changed, particularly in like news of late. Like, I think this was a very topical movie to watch, like as of recently.
Yeah.
And I would actually very much like encourage our viewers. Like, I think like obviously like it's a good movie. Everyone should go watch it just in general. But I think like especially for what's happening like today. And this episode will be released on July 23rd.
July 23rd.
So I think like watching this in the light of
The current political climate.
of the current
Yeah.
political climate also like added something to me with it as well. So
Do we want to start going through the plot? Talking through it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why not?
let's do it.
So
No.
this movie
I
starts.
think we've said about everything.
Yeah,
we
I'm
come
signed off.
we come over the hill of a destroyed Los Angeles. At the bottom of the screen, title card 2150, the second year of them. No, I'm kidding.
What movie is that?
I just made it up.
Oh.
I
thought you were doing like a Judgment Day
No, I was
Terminator
thinking.
2
I
bit.
was like thinking loosely of Terminator.
It would be really fun, I think, too. The problem is nobody would ever watch this movie because people who like disaster movies do not want to see a gay road trip film. People who want to see gay road trip films do not want to see a disaster
Yeah.
movie. But I do love the idea of we're going from New York to LA and we're gonna kiss the Hollywood star for Cher. And so it's like a group of gay friends driving and this terrible zombie destruction moving across. And then it's like they meet in the middle. And so you're watching two movies that then merge.
That's like
That sounds actually a really
great.
good
I
idea.
watched the shit out of that.
Yeah,
Actually,
it would be
re-
a great movie. It would do so bad in
Like
theaters.
Miss, but what if they were all gay?
Yeah, not one executive would ever let me get in the elevator with that one.
Combine to Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and Army of the Dead, and have
Versus Army of Darkness.
them collide in Vegas.
But, yeah, call it Slay.
Yes, there we go. And it's a Christmas movie.
Ooh.
And it's a Christmas movie.
And it's Christmas.
And it's a Christmas movie. And Tom Cruise is in it, and he plays every single
As
character.
Santa Claus.
Yes.
He plays Santa Claus, but also Xenu.
I would say he plays Krampus, but
He plays, Tom would never.
he never played Krampus.
Tom would never.
Does Scientology believe in Krampus?
Probably not.
Scientology does not believe in a lot, I don't think.
Fair.
Besides good teeth, it's seemingly the only thing Scientology actually believes in.
What's the good teeth bit?
Well, Tom Cruise like had fucked up teeth, and then he
I think he got his teeth fixed because
his
we live in a
teeth fixed because of his
society.
career.
Yeah.
It was mostly
That
just
wasn't
a
a
joke.
Scientology
No, it's not a real
bit.
thing. I was
Okay.
making
Are
a
we
joke
going to do
about.
the plot of the movie where he
I was
just
talking
talking
about him having
about?
good teeth. So this movie starts in Tom Cruise's house. We're at a.
Give me the phone. The movie starts.
I left my iPad at home, so I'm just doing everything off of my phone.
Patrick Swayze walks out shirtless with a towel, and I immediately go, "Oh, I understand what they're trying to do here."
Yeah.
Right? They're saying, if you came here for this, you just got it. You can leave.
Yeah. All these. Everyone's just like, all right, good. 2 seconds into the movie, they're walking out the door.
Yeah.
We got what we needed.
But no, it starts Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes getting ready.
Yeah.
Just like opening montage over the credits.
Super cool. You know what that was? The joy of the art of creation.
Is a joy. And what's so nice is that you never see them without their makeup again in the movie.
No, you don't. Which is what I have a huge theory of this movie, and we might have to talk about it later. I don't think this movie was about drag queens. I think it was about being trans, but they couldn't make a movie about being trans. So they made a movie about drag queens.
I would believe that.
Because, and again, I'm no expert, but I'm under the impression like if you're driving from New York to LA, you don't have to stay in drag the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like, because drag is a like beautiful piece of art, but it is a gender performance.
Yeah.
That gay men put on, or not every, obviously not every drag queen's a gay man, but like you understand my point.
Yeah.
And they talk about that in the car, but then it's like
They're still in.
You can like, and that like you don't have to. You have a stage name, but you also have like the name you use when you're walking around, and like oh my God, what's her name? Vita Boheme? Am I crazy?
No, that's right.
Vera.
Vita Boheme.
Vita
Boheme.
Vita Boheme.
Vita
Sorry, I
Boheme.
just mixed up my letters. But like, it's like, oh, my license says Eugene. It's like, Eugene? It's like, you would know that, actually. Like, you would go by Eugene. And again, like, not everybody does it the same way. But I was looking at this and I was like, this movie is not about being a drag queen. It's not about performance. It's about the love and inheritance of femininity. And it's like, so interesting.
To that very point, like this is kind of jumping a little bit ahead, but like to that very point, Ange, like I kind of also had this thought too, because there was a moment I had where it's like they're in the town and they're in their drag and they're posing as women. And like the drama,
and they're hoping nobody knows that they're drag queens.
And it's like the drama is like, I hope nobody knows that we're drag queens. And like I'm thinking in the head, it's like you could just take the drag off and be like men.
Well, yeah. So
and it's like the drag queen side of it. But then that's where I thought, oh, wait a minute.
Well, because the conversation is right. It is safer to just not do it. But also, if that's who you are, right? If that's how you're most comfortable, if that's how you want to exist in the world, you shouldn't have to do that, right? You should be able to do whatever you'd like. But also, and so right. I don't know. It's interesting. And also I don't know about 90s drag scene, if that was any different. I also I am in no way an expert, but I thought that was really interesting where I was like, I wonder if this was a script about being trans that couldn't be a script about being trans.
I would put money.
I feel like that makes more sense to me because I had the thought multiple times. It was almost like a moment that hurt the movie viewing for me, because like I just kept watching this, like even with their experience with the police officer and like going through all these towns, and I couldn't help but just think it's like you exist outside of drag. Like they
don't.
No, well, I'm
that's
saying
your
like
point, right.
they do drag as like a gender performance bit, but like the movie starts with them getting ready in the morning, so that assumes they get ready in the morning, which would assume that they then take off drag at night or when they're done. So I guess like for me the disconnect, the dissonance I had was like the drama is like centered around like, oh, I hope they don't find out that we're drag queens. I'm like, I feel like we're trying to say something other than drag queens here, which is the point that I think you're making. I don't know. It was like I kept having that like bit in this movie. It's like, wouldn't it be like, I don't know.
But to be fair, they do say in the car where it's like, there are people who want to live their lives as women and they go by a name. And then there are men who have a sexual preference or like a sexual fetish and they have their name. And when you are a gay man, right, but you have too much fashion sense to just be one gender, you are what we are.
Yes.
I think probably what it was bold stroke, right? Like they're covering, one, it makes sense for the drama, and two, they're not so different in the eyes of the larger community, the larger world, especially in the 90s. And so it's like they're covering a lot. It's interesting. It's just something to think about.
Yeah. And they couldn't make a movie about trans people in this movie.
And they could not.
Yeah.
Could not make
I think
a movie
that's like my key takeaway for this. It's like, oh, like again, I think it's a great insight because like I'm watching this, like this movie does make a lot more sense and carries the same dramatic weight if you just change that for like drag queen to trans women. And thinking about that, I was like, okay. Like,
I do think though, because then if you're a trans woman, like often the femininity you perform, you're not interested in doing it at that level.
Yeah.
You just want to be
right,
like a woman in the way that many women are women, right? Like you just want to exist in the center.
Yeah.
But there is something really beautiful about elevating it, right? So I think I think it was,
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, you pull from multiple pots of paint when you make a picture, right?
Yeah.
I think it was about multiple things, but I thought it was super interesting.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a degree of this movie to like it's obviously a very specific story about drag queens, trans women. It is written by a gay man.
Mm-hmm.
That's also true.
Who I think like to him he just might not fully, because he said the reason he wrote this movie is he saw a like anti-gay ad that was just like,
what if drag queens take over our town?
It was
what
like 3 drag queens walking through like a small town in mid-America, and he's like, oh, that'd be a fun movie.
Yeah.
And so I do think like he's probably just conflating his views of drag queens and trans women together in a certain sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's just kind of like this guy's perception of those two groups that he's putting into this movie.
It's also true in the 90s, right? Because it was so hard to be gay, full stop.
Yeah.
There, like the idea that we have now of very specific boxes and buckets that like there's a difference between a drag queen and a trans woman. And there's a difference between a trans woman and like somebody who likes to dress up as a woman in bed, right? That these are things that are cordoned off and sectioned and that you can name yourself as one of these things. Didn't really exist at the time, right? Or I mean, of course people had names for things, but it was like, who cares, right? Like we are fighting for our fucking lives. I don't care why you're wearing a dress. I just need you to work. Like I just need your support.
Yeah, and like in a cinematic sense, like the representation of
it certainly doesn't matter to the movie viewer.
Like trans women in a like basically the perception people have is John Lithgow in The World According to Garp, and then The Crying Game, which is a massive like step for trans representation in cinema. And then there's Silence of the Lambs, which is obviously a very negative
a step back, one would say.
A step back.
We take a big step forward, have a step back.
And then there's the second season of Twin Peaks as a trans character who was like incredibly difficult to get into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's just like it's kind of just like a thing that's only popping up every now and again, and like these filmmakers having to really fight to include positive representation of trans characters.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, for a movie like this, the way that, I'm trying to remember the writer's name again, the way Douglas Carter Bean, which is a fascinatingly fun name to say.
Yeah.
To him, he's just like trying to kind of grapple with that and, make these women come to life in this movie. And he's kind of pulling from a little bit everything.
And they really do. Anyway, they're getting ready.
They're getting ready.
The very beginning of this 2-hour movie, they're getting ready.
And we get intercut with Chi-Chi kind of like running down like she's late for something.
Yeah.
Because Wesley Snipes' character and Patrick Swayze's Vida and Noxima are getting ready for a drag show contest.
The New York
competition.
Drag queen competition.
Yeah. And they get up there and we get RuPaul, who comes out and announces the winner. Mm-hmm. And it's a tie between Vida and Noxima.
Yes.
And their award is that they get 2 free airline tickets to...
They get an all-expense paid trip.
Yeah.
So their hotels are paid for and everything.
Yeah. And to go to Los Angeles, California to compete in the... they get like Drag Show of America competition.
Yeah. Drag Queen of America.
Yeah. And... yeah, so they get that, and then when they're...
Did you see all of those queens were real New York drag queens?
I did not.
Yeah, so those are all real names. And a few of those women are now out as trans women.
Oh, yeah.
But they were all like big, not big, but like underground big 90s drag queens. And they all are credited by their names, which is really cool.
Something that we've covered through Robin's career, and we'll continue to talk about, is that he continually shows an interest in bringing in like real disadvantaged groups into the films and representing them in positive lights. Obviously, he's in The World According to Garp, which John Lithgow is playing a trans woman in. Mrs. Doubtfire, for all of its craziness, is a more positive representation of that idea than you'd expect from that premise. This movie, he's bringing, obviously, very small role, but him and Spielberg in some way help shepherd this thing into creation and insist upon getting real trans women and drag queens in that sequence. We're gonna talk about The Birdcage coming up. Very similar story. Like there's something to Robin's continual like connection with these movies that actually service and highlight disadvantaged like LGBTQ groups and drag queens and all that I just find kind of really it's affirming to be like, oh, we picked a good one to cover this time. But I just find it nice, and I'm glad that we get to kind of track this arc through his career. Because they're they win 2 plane tickets to LA. LA, go to Hollywood, California. I wanted to say it. I'm sorry.
I meant to do the crickets one,
but after they win, Chi-Chi runs off crying. And Ange, this is one of the first things you said to me when you showed up today. Is they go up the stairs, they're very excited about their win. They come across.
I mean, but that's the quote that everybody knows. So I watch drag queens play Dungeons and Dragons, and the DM is a straight heterosexual man, but he said, "Hey, how can I support you guys? What can I wear that would support you?" And they said, "Well, you do your version of drag." And for him, it's like fantasy cosplay, but he has like the full makeup and the nails, and he's having a very good time with it. And there he's talking about when he was a kid, he was Stevie Nicks for Halloween. And one of the drag queen goes, "Little elven boy in drag, why are you crying?" So I feel like I knew that line way before I ever knew about the movie. Little Latin boy in drag, why are you crying?
The two of them are so good, and they're all good in this scene.
Yeah.
But specifically, the thing that like I'm clocking with Swayze is I'm just like, he's like inhabiting the soul of Diane Wiest in this movie.
Yes.
There's like specifically Diane Wiest in Edward Scissorhands. It's like so specifically the Swayze vibe, like even looks like her. I just kept being like, did he like do a fucking like, I know she was alive. She's still alive. Was he doing like a ritual to summon her spirit into his body?
What I was thinking when I saw this was like, I think all three of them are holding a different place in like the drag world, like the different kinds of drag you can do, but they're probably all dressed as women they saw growing up, right? Like if you grew up in a rich suburb of Philadelphia, you saw women like that all the time.
Yeah, Bala Cynwyd representation in this movie. Shout out.
Yeah, I was thinking of you, and I was like, in Philadelphia, and then next is Bala Cynwyd, and it's like, I bet he knows. It's interesting. I don't know. The costuming I thought was great, and the way each like person held themselves is great. But I also was thinking in that stairwell, I don't know what you guys know about, especially 90s drag culture, the like system of mothers and houses. You guys, are you agreeing to have me keep talking, or you're agreeing?
I'm agreeing to have you keep talking.
I worked on a drag movie once, and that's where I first kind of learned about this topic. But it was set in modern times. So I'm interested to learn more about how the structure of it goes.
I don't know about today. I really do not. I just know the research I've been doing. But there used to be, like when she says, "I'm Vita Boheme of the Manhattan Bohemes," that there's a group of women under the Boheme house that Vita probably came up with and either left and kept the name, or maybe we would know if she was the mother of a house because she would have had a big group of people there supporting her. So probably not, but... And unless that was a throwaway line, it didn't mean anything. But the system at the time was there would be houses and there would be a mother. And what the mother was a successful either like drag woman or performer, right? Or some kind of group. And then you compete as a house. It would almost be like a sorority. And you would pull your people and represent it. And like Pose is about that, where there's a woman in a house and she goes, "I want to start my own house and be a mother." And so you bring in your children. And one of the people she brought in was like a guy off the street, right? Like you bring people in and you live in a house together and you share food and you share resources, because everybody was so broke in the 90s in New York. but that's how you live together and you follow the house rules. Excuse me.
We have two kind of guests on this show. We have the guests who will like come in and it's like kind of a sparring match. Like even if they agree with us, like that's still kind of the energy of it. And then there's the type of guests like Andrew kind of just come in with so much knowledge and like kind of just like a nice like plate ready of
this
like,
is my
of a
podcast
meal
today.
that it's just
you
like,
guys are
Ange
my
is
guests.
the honest like let
Welcome
them
to
cook.
Bobbin with Robin with Ange.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but just like there's like the type of guest that we bring in is like
Yeah.
and then like Ange just comes in with like so much information and context. It's like such a pleasure having you on to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I make your lives real easy.
So imagine this episode if it was just you and I. We're just like
We've been here before. We've been here before having the same conversation of Ange being on a podcast, be like, imagine if it was just Jeff and I talking about how to make an American quilt or bolt. Or
we'd be like,
we're like,
they
damn,
made the quilt
that
25-minute episode.
Yeah, that movie really had a dog in it. But my point is like the instinct to be like, oh, this person is up and coming in drag. You're going to join us. And the downside is you're going to follow our rules, whether you like it or not, but we will train you and help you and financially support you, right? Mm-hmm. That was pretty baked into the culture of, oh, you're new, you're coming in, you're working with me now, right?
Yeah.
Like you are not in charge anymore. But that was how a lot of people came up in the community.
Yeah. And so
what are you going to add?
I actually don't have anything to add to that thought. But what I do have is that they feel like a sense of mothership for Chi-Chi.
Mm-hmm. Well, Vita
specifically
does.
Vita does.
Yeah.
Noxema is basically
like,
just like,
no.
let them rot.
Yeah.
But they're like...
Which also I think did happen where it would be like, no, this person is hopeless. Like we're not wasting our resources trying to train somebody with no potential.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's when Vita's like, I have an idea. And so they walk, they leave the event space and they're walking through Times Square to head to the China Bowl, which this shot is kind of remarkable because it's like them walking and then it gets up and you see the entirety of Times Square.
It's so expensive, I imagine.
Which at this time, almost certainly like they just went with traffic and went with like pedestrians.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah. Kind of like the Birdman approach with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I'm sure they just like, but like basically the point is like, this is such a specific time for Times Square. Mm-hmm. Let me find out when.
They were filming, I want to say like something to October, I thought. Because it had to be warm. They were outside the whole time.
Because Times Square through the 80s is like considered like a den of sin. It's like
still is if you live there. Like
it's like where all the like it's where the XXX theaters are. It's where like the prostitutes would hang out. It was like a very known as like, for lack of a better term, like a scummy place.
A red light district.
Red light district. Mm-hmm. And then this is right around the time where Rudy Giuliani is elected mayor of New York, and he comes in. His whole thing is like, I'm gonna clean up Times Square, and basically all the long-term residents of New York have views on this. That's like it like destroyed the culture of that area because it just turned it into a tourist trap where they put a Disney store.
Yeah.
Whereas like
a den of sin, like what I said.
Yeah.
The M&M World Store is there,
and so this is such like a kind of a pointed time to have even a small sequence in Times Square is like this place that was, for, whether you have problems or not, it was a place where drag queens and trans individuals like could kind of find their kin. And it's in this position of being refurbished into the tourist center of the world.
Yeah.
Also, like you said, probably would have been very expensive to do anything. I imagine the shot's basically stolen. They got a permit to put a crane in, and then they just had the three actors standing there, and they just sent them through. There's only one movie that's ever shut down Times Square, and it is Tom Cruise Vanilla Sky. They shut down Times Square for 45 minutes, I believe.
Wow.
That is a long time in New York time.
It is. You can watch. The scene is incredible. It is Tom Cruise. He wakes up, he has a dream that he's alone in Times Square and there's no one else there. And it is
Who wrote that into a script? Like, how bold do you have to be?
I literally think it was Tom Cruise saying, I think I can do this. And he went to Rudy Giuliani and said, give me Times Square for 45 minutes. It's like kind of just like one of the craziest, like, actor ego moments where
Yeah.
he's just like, I could shut down
For
Times Square.
Vanilla Sky.
But he was right.
And it worked. It's crazy.
Well,
You,
it is
like-
Rudy Giuliani, right?
You watch
So
the
it's like-
watch the opening of Vanilla Sky when you have it's like a minute long scene.
Yeah.
It's just like you're like, I can't. This is like the craziest effect is just that there's nobody in
Yeah.
Times Square. But anyway, they get this shot. They walk across. They go to the China Bowl restaurant where they meet up with John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
His name is
my name
That
too.
I loved because they said that and I was like, well, they have to make a joke. And Wesley Snipes going, of course, his name is my name too. He's like, did they shout?
Shout?
I hate it when they shout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Played by Robin Williams.
Yes. Robin Williams. Seemingly, it's unclear if he's the owner of the restaurant.
No, he's not. the
Or
owner
if
of the
he's just
restaurant.
meeting them there.
He's just the man with the money. Because also everybody there was from the event beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was just the after party. So he was in the audience, presumably.
But they link up with him and they're like, basically, we want to trade these 2 tickets, these flights to LA, for a cheaper mode of transit for 3 people to get to LA.
I also was under the impression that maybe he was financing the prize. Like that's also possible. But he did
possible.
buy their tickets from them for $1,000, and then they got a car for $50, which leaves them $950 for hotels and such,
Which
and
is
food.
Yeah.
because
They were like, well, you could do a bus. And I think Noxima was like, I am not taking a bus
Well,
from
I think she did say, "Who do you take me for, Rosa Parks?"
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
got a point. And she's got
It's
a
like
point.
very valid.
this is like, and it's like the perfect kind of deployment of the Robin cameo. Because he's an actor who can go very big,
Yeah.
and it can be overwhelming, in some senses.
Yeah.
This is a very good deployment of him.
yeah.
He's like
it's the right amount.
he gets to go a little big, but honestly, all the performances are very big in this movie.
Yeah.
So he kind of just fits into the tapestry of it.
Yeah.
Because he's not really doing anything besides just like kind of coming in, just be a little funny, be a little sassy, and just give them their car. He's a plot device.
Because he brings up that like a used car salesman owes him a favor.
Yeah.
So
Any car on the lot's $50.
Yeah, if you mention my name. And so
Then they show up and Bernie Mac is there. He's like, car don't pick the car. Driver don't pick the car. Car pick the driver. It's a mystical
a yellow
bond between man and
Camaro shows up.
Yeah.
Has the Autobot symbol.
machine. Yeah.
I'm telling you, the gay road trip crossover movie
With
with
a transformer.
Transformers.
and then there's zombies.
Yes.
But earnestly, what a crazy thing to say at a car dealership. The driver don't pick the car. No, the driver picks the fucking car. They see one they like and they pick it.
The car
you don't
isn't
know that the
paid
car,
for
you
the
don't
driver.
know that the car's alive. Bernie Mac, rest in peace. But shut the fuck up.
No disrespect on Bernie Mac's name.
Anyway, so they get a Cadillac DeVille.
Let's say they have 2 options. They have a Toyota Corolla, which runs fine, or they can get a convertible Cadillac.
Yeah.
And the salesman says, "It's like, listen,
he's like, there's no shot that gets you across the country. Please, ladies, please get the
Toyota Corolla."
And I loved his character because I think it does set up that in New York they can exist, right?
Yeah.
Like in New York, you can be yourself pretty much okay.
Yeah.
And like you can go into a car dealership and it's like, please, ladies, right? Like,
Yeah. They'll respect you for who you are.
yeah. Ladies, we have to make a choice we've made before: style or substance.
Immediate cut to them pulling out in the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Which is-
Of course.
And it like very cleanly sets up what's going to happen in this movie.
Yeah.
One thing we did skip is that at the China Bowl restaurant, that's where they see the autographed
titular
image of Julie Newmar.
Yeah.
They're patron saint on this.
That says, to Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Who I think Chi-Chi asked, like, who's Julie Newmar? Because Vita is immediately like, one of the most important, doesn't she look so statuesque in this image? She was the only Catwoman for me. Which is a little bit of a diss on Michelle Pfeiffer, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm sure Michelle Pfeiffer will live.
Michelle Pfeiffer's doing fine.
She's doing okay.
But they take off and they steal the signed Julie Newmar image. They bring it with them on their quest.
They prop it up on the, I think the cigarette burner,
Yeah.
right?
And this is right when I think like this is when you're like, okay, I understand what the structure of this movie is now.
Yeah.
This is going to be like a midnight run type, structure where it's like we're going to have them driving for about 5 minutes at a time. There'll be a 20 to 30 minute interlude. We'll have like 4 or 5 of those where they'll just stop in different towns along the way, and we'll see their different experiences. It's like one of the most like tried and true like structures for
The
a
Muppet movie.
The Muppet movie is a
Muppet
great
movie.
example of that. Like it's like a perfect structure. It's very hard to go wrong with that structure.
Yeah, who doesn't love a good road trip movie?
But then like I think the movie makes a kind of bold choice to kind of plant itself where it lands.
Yeah.
Because we do one stop in a road trip structure where they come across the basketball team.
Oh, we do two stops because then there's the cop.
Oh, there's the cop. I was discounting the cop because he's kind of like a
Because he
mid
sucks so bad, I don't want to talk about
He kind of like
Yeah.
he kind of
that actor was fantastic. I mean, we'll talk about it in a second. But yes, they stop at the hotel.
yeah, where they come across a women's basketball team, and then Wesley Snipes does a sick dunk on them.
He does do a sick dunk. And there's a pool.
And the thing that I'm like, you inherently expect is that the tension of this, like so much of this movie is going to be if they're going to be found out. But I like that it's not a factor in this sequence. Like it's just kind of like,
Well, it is at the beginning, and then they're no longer found out.
I just like that like they get to just have this moment with like they walk in kind of trepidatiously into the hotel.
And they're like,
And
are you with the
Are you with the
group?
women's basketball group?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they
Yes,
just
are.
they just play basketball with the women.
and
it's
they
just-
hang out, like they talk to them, and I'm sure it all works out.
They just hang out. It seems like a nice time, and then they continue driving.
Is this before the town in Philadelphia, or is it after?
I think Balakinwood is right after the basketball.
Okay, Balkanwood is right after. My bad.
It's right after or before. It's one.
It's one of the stops.
Yeah, but they stop by Vita's
Hometown.
family home, right? Mm-hmm. Balakinwood, Pennsylvania, a very nice town. But they pull up in front of the home that she grew up in, and they're looking, and there's an older woman who kind of walks out. She kind of takes a look at the car and turns around and heads back inside. The implication being this is Vita's mother, who is just kind of disgusted by her current lifestyle and just wants no association with it.
Was there anything about why they went there? Like, was it for money?
I think they were just driving.
They were driving
just-
through.
Oh,
I mean, if
okay.
you're going from New York to LA, you will drive through Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Balakinwood is west of Philadelphia, but in theory, you would just hit it. And
Just
then
kinda
it's, and
like
then
a
it's like,
pass by.
and it's like whatever, right? Like if you're
Yeah.
driving south through DC, I'm from McLean. If you're driving south through DC, hitting McLean is nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy place to get lunch at that point.
Yeah.
I'm currently looking up what route it would take you if you drove from New York to Los Angeles.
Well,
you
because
could
if they go New York to Philadelphia to Nebraska, they're just going north, which is probably smart that you don't want to swing south.
You would not go through Philadelphia.
I feel like you could just take 90 through.
You kind of wind
take
up
90 to
close.
Chicago and then take 70 all the way there. Mm-hmm. Right?
You would take 78 from New York across Pennsylvania, turns into 70. You take it through Indianapolis, and then turns into 44. Not that anyone cares about this.
But also, remember, they get lost. They tear
Yeah.
up the map and then they lose their way.
For them to travel through Nebraska is the northern route, which it does take you through Chicago.
Yeah. Did you know when May was driving across the country during COVID, his dad made him promise not to drive south for racial tensions?
Wow.
Because he was driving with a black man, and his dad was like, "You do not look white enough to carry the car." And it's like, whoa,
2020.
north it is.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, it was like
That's
June of 2020.
good.
And it was like if Ange is in the car, she could do
Yeah.
it. She's not in the car. You have to go.
Keep
north.
going.
Yeah.
I only say it because like I made the trip from like my hometown Indiana to Estes Park, Colorado, which I think is a little bit more north of the route that you would take to get to LA. But then I also did a road trip from Chicago to Phoenix, Arizona, which I think would kind of be
That swings you pretty far south, but not like east south.
right.
That's
It's like because I think Phoenix is like
Or
4
southwest.
hours from
Proto
LA,
south.
and that is like you're pretty much taking like 70, almost all the way there practically. It's where you find out like driving through Nebraska, there really is nothing
No,
there.
there is nothing
There's,
out
like,
there.
For all of our Nebraska fans, sorry.
But the Balakinwood stop happens, the basketball team happens, and then we basically skip over a large chunk of the country
Yeah.
because they eventually wind up in Nebraska.
Yeah.
But they're lost. They don't know where they are because there's nothing there. and they're driving along, and then boop boop. Presumably, like the cop uses the excuse of the taillight. Presumably, he just saw 3 women drive by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we see later their taillight is not out.
Yeah, so he wants to take advantage of them.
Yeah.
So he pulls them over, comes up. This sheriff, like this actor, Chris Penn.
Grime.
I feel like we've heard his name before.
He's Sean Penn's brother.
Oh, good for him.
Which
I thought played this role great. And I did not
Yes.
know that until later in the movie, which we'll talk about when he's in the bar.
because he's like one of those guys.
He is just one of those guys.
Who's just like
One of
you're.
those
I was just
guys.
like, I've seen this actor play this same role 1,000,000 times, and then I looked at his career and I was like, I have seen this actor play.
You
this
have
same
seen this
role
actor do that role a million times.
He's Bubba and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Different Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh.
But because I saw that too, and I was like, really? That's another movie with the same.
Different Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Has he done any movies I would know? I don't know Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is the implication there.
He did to Wong Fu. Actually, he's in
Really?
He's in True Romance. He's in Reservoir Dogs.
He's in Reservoir Dogs. Good for him.
Footloose. Rumble. He's like in. He plays this guy.
Did you guys know that Patrick Swayze stuffed a corn cob down his pants?
Yes.
And so that the look of shock on his face is genuine, which you can, now that I look at it, you can kind of see that it's not like the shock of someone figuring out someone is a man.
Yeah.
It's the shock of being an actor.
Pain.
And it's the shock of being an actor and thinking you touched another actor's penis, right? Like that. I think it was much more the fear, and I think it does work for the movie, but it was not like you're a man. It was like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I just grabbed your corn cob.
Sorry. Dude, you're huge. Sorry. I mean, I'm big. Sorry.
He's like, I know it's Patrick Swayze. I know. Oh my god, he's packing heat.
He's packing corn on the cob.
But like, for just to contextualize, I like the officer Dollard, but his badge is Dullard. He keeps like, it's misprinted.
It'll be a reoccurring bit.
Says that they can, Vita doesn't want to show her driver's license because it says Eugene on it.
Yeah.
Exposing herself. So she goes back with Officer Dollard, who tries to, feel her up. Mm-hmm. Discovers she has a dick. Mm-hmm. And she immediately pushes him, and he falls to the ground. And the 3 queens just decide he's dead.
Yeah, he doesn't wake up.
He just is on the ground. And I like that Noxzema goes over and checks his pulse. But like
it's
in
Chi-Chi.
the wrong.
Yeah.
Is it Chi-Chi?
Yeah, Chi-Chi.
In the wrong way, and it's like, oh, this guy's dead. And then like,
Chi-Chi's like, I had an accountant who died on me like this. Oh fuck, he's dead. And it's like, he is not dead. No one.
it was like
he's dead.
the lightest little fall from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's cooked. He's gone. So they take off.
But they leave a
Shoe
shoe.
behind.
a
Important
glass
detail.
slipper,
Glass slipper.
Cinderella.
Yeah.
like
And-
the worst Cinderella, but very cute. I mean,
And what I
good
like,
joke.
what I like is that they decide that they're gonna they have to change up their look, and so they pull over. They pull the convertible top down, and then I like that they just change into different ostentatious outfits.
Well, you only have what you pack,
I know,
right?
but it's just like it's a good joke that like we need to get incognito, and they just dress into something else equally as colorful.
Yeah.
You must be true to yourself, even in the darkness.
I also think they drove through the night at that point because
Yeah.
they were looking for a
Yeah.
place to stop and we're lost. And we're like, well, we're not stopping now. So you if you were up all night, you want to brush your teeth, you want to put on a change of clothes. So I think that was also part of it. And then it was like, oh, I'm feeling so good.
Yeah,
No, the car won't turn on.
because they're at a random like rest stop in Nebraska. Car won't turn on.
Unmanned
There's
rest stop
actually
is
not a
crazy.
soul there.
Yeah. Love a 90s unmanned rest stop in Nebraska.
Nebraska
That's where
is
magic
so
happens.
desolate;
Yeah.
they just can't even put a person there.
No.
I've been to like an unmanned rest stop before. It's always like a crazy vibe.
My favorites were like,
It's man.
You see in movies where it's like last stop for X amount of miles, and you're like, what does that mean exactly? And then like,
Oh, you ain't been to Nevada.
well, like that happened on my trip to Colorado. Like right as I passed through the border, I went through one stop because I saw a sign that's like last stop for like the next 80 miles or something like that. It was like 80 miles. And like, sure enough, like 2.5 hours later, I'm like, oh shit, there is nothing out here. Like nothing at all. Not even a town to pass through.
There's a trek my mom does between churches in Nevada, and she has people she knows and she herself have run out of gas because there isn't enough there isn't a gas station working between those two places where you can do it. Like, I think now she brings a canister of gas, or maybe because she has a hybrid car, she can like balance it with the electric.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot or very difficultly make it.
You have to have like 3/4 of a tank at the very
You
least.
have to have a full tank to get from one place to another, because if you have a half, you will not make it.
Oh my gosh.
But that's also Nevada, which is a huge state with nothing in it.
This is the other NE state, Nebraska.
Funny, not how I feel about New Hampshire.
Not how you feel about New Hampshire
Or New Jersey.
New Jersey?
I said the other
New
NE
Jersey's
state.
desolate.
Completely forget I'm getting all the news.
New Brunswick. Don't feel that way about New Brunswick.
York.
New York. New York, yeah, you can't get anywhere.
New York.
New York, there's no people there.
But they're shit out of luck. No gas. No hope. When Chi-Chi runs to the road.
It's not gas.
I know the car
broke.
does. I just like saying no gas, no hope.
Okay, for sure.
Chi-Chi heads over to the road, and there's like a pickup truck coming, and she shows her leg off. And of course, you
gotta respect it.
You gotta respect the hustle.
I do love, I got more legs than a bucket of chicken.
That line goes crazy.
We're putting that in the lexicon, ladies and gentlemen. We're saving that one for
Bucket
later.
of chicken. And it's what's this dude's name?
Bobby Ray.
Bobby Ray, not to be confused with Bobby Lee.
No.
Another character in this
That
film.
confused me a few times.
John London is the actor, right?
John London, then.
Because he was cute.
Jason London.
Jason London.
Yes.
He was cute. I thought he was cute.
Look at this. Look at his like Wikipedia profile.
Damn, never
It's
mind.
like haunting.
That looks like
Never
a,
mind.
That looks like a mugshot.
I think he's the main guy in Dazed and Confused.
That sounds right.
Yeah, he's the main guy in Dazed and Confused. But he pulls over and he's like, "Y'all need something?" And Chi-Chi essentially negotiates with him by showing off her leg. Like, "Hey, take me and my friends into town. We need
She
help
doesn't
finding."
negotiate by showing off her leg. He pulls over because she shows off her leg, and she's like, "We're stuck. We need a ride to the next
Yeah.
town." He says, "I will take you to Snyderville."
Snyder.
And she comes back and says, "He'll take us to Spiderville."
Snyderville, and he's like, "It's like whatever." But that's the first time they meet.
It
That's
is
super cute.
And they go to the finest town in America, Snydersville.
Yeah.
Like, this is my favorite type of movie town, where it's like,
I
and I know
the
this is. I want to be
desolate
clear. I know that this is a real town. I understand this fundamentally,
Mm-hmm.
but it has like perfect movie town energy. Where it's like there are 4 buildings.
Yes.
In the center.
Did they build it, or is it a real town they filmed?
It's a
in?
real town.
It's a real town.
Yeah.
Like, I fundamentally know this, but it does have huge movie town energy. Where it's like there are 4 buildings, and this is where everything happens for the rest of the movie because there is nowhere else.
Yeah.
It's like the town in Thor that's like 4 random square blocks in the middle of a desert, completely built up, and then it's just nothing.
Gosh, there's like one like small little town just outside of my small little town, because my hometown is like not small enough to be considered like movie town. Like, it's gotten big enough to like sustain Walmart and all that stuff. But there is like a small town like down the road from us that is like what you would describe, Jeff, as like quintessential movie small town.
Yes.
Like 4 buildings. But it's like back in the day when they had like vending machines on the sidewalk outside. Like, and they still have them. Like, that's the old style small town I'm talking about. Every time I drive through, I'm like, I want to make a movie here.
Yeah.
So it'd be a great
They
post-apocalyptic.
have that Phantom Menace vending machine still available out there. It hasn't run in 10 years.
I was thinking about that when we were watching this movie. Until I was 8, I lived in a town called Whitestone, which had 1 street light and 300 residents. And the joke was that every time a baby was born, the number would stay the same because the dad would leave. But
very good.
yeah, it feels
It's actually a good joke, I gotta say.
it's a good joke. We enjoyed telling it. Except that it was true, right? Like, except that was tough.
The bad thing is
Like,
it's true.
People knew when we moved there because the number went up by 4, and it was like, what happened?
They're like, what? What's going on?
What happened? So,
Yeah.
but those towns are interesting. Those towns are very different places. I mean, we had a street light, and so we had a main street, but it wasn't quite as contained because that town has a residence of 25.
Yeah.
Wow. I love the documentaries that talk about like the residents population of 1, and what it is just a pub that's still operated. That's all, but it still kind of counts. It's like its own.
There's like
little
one
district.
guy who lives above
There's
the
a
pub.
post office like above the pub, and then there's like they have like a city like county district townhouse, and it's the office behind the pub.
It's just the one guy who runs the whole thing.
I think it's like
Good for taxes.
He hears a bell ring and like Benny Hill music starts playing. He's like quickly throwing on like a fake mustache to run back to the district office. And then there's another, he's got to run back out to the pub and pour a Guinness. Someone's got to mail something.
It was an interesting documentary that I saw about it. It was run by a really nice lady. I want to figure out what that is, but yeah.
But they wind up having to stay in this town because they have Virgil takes a look. Who's like the town mechanic. He's married to a woman named Carol Ann who runs an inn, and he runs like a mechanic business right outside.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is going to take until I can't get the parts for this until Monday. And it is Saturday.
Monday.
And they're like disgusted they have to spend time in this town.
Well, I think they also have somewhere to be.
Yeah. But they like Carolyn shows them the room, and I think Patrick Swayze is just like, "Do you have somewhere more hospitable or habitable?"
That was super interesting to me. I really wanted to talk about that because the way that Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes were talking in that was so East Coast City, right? Or like if you walk in and you're like, do you have somewhere more hospitable? Like you throw it back.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, this is the presidential suite. And it's like, must have been one of them dead presidents or a bad one. And then you like toss it back again. And we see it when they're fighting where you just kind of like keep upping the insult, right? There is a social contract understanding of that. Whereas in small rural towns, especially like I would say in the South, in the Midwest, right? You would never, ever say, do you have somewhere more hospitable? Like, do you have somewhere that's better? You would just have to take it.
It's an immediate culture clash.
It is. It's super interesting. I thought that was the part of the movie where I was watching and I said, oh, this is what I'm here to talk about because I've lived in now really small rural towns and really big cities, and it's like there is a huge difference between the two as far as the social contract goes.
I will say on an anecdotal story that when our friend group originated, us three plus Becca, that it was definitely a different vibe of you two being East Coast and Becca and I being Midwest.
Yes.
And I remember feeling that difference pretty distinctly.
Yeah.
Since then I've grown to now like understand like the differences in like, I don't know, like mannerisms of different places.
Because, and to your point, like the fundamental idea of this movie is it's like the culture clash between drag queens and like kind of staid, traditionalists.
The salt of the earth American.
And that's what you think that the movie's less specifically about that. And it's more about like this specific culture clash of like Midwest and East Coast type vibes.
City rat, country mouse.
Yeah. What do you city slickers? I was trying to think of the exact term, but I can't think of it because there's a name for the type of movie like this, about that type of clash. But like, because they get there and they're in the room and Caroline is like, well, this is a presidential suite. And
well, she's super offended. Like what they're doing is super offensive if you're not like, anyway, I guess it would be offensive if you did it in New York, but in New York, that's how people talk to each other. So it's like, yeah, fuck you. You want something different? Go down the hall. And it's like, I'm not going the fuck down the hall. And it's like, fuck you. And you close the door. Right. And then, but nobody walks away from that being like, wow, that was different. Right. Like, but it was such an interesting scene. It was just interesting for her to be like, well, you guys seem tired. I'm going to walk away.
Yes.
And it was like, ooh, I remember that.
She's hurt.
I remember how to get out of those conversations, right? Where it's like, well, you seem tired, right? You can't just leave. You have to say like, well, it makes sense for me to not be here and I shall go, right? So,
but then there's also the aspect that like her anger is not entirely founded on just being offended that like she didn't decorate the room well. It's like kind of an acknowledgement that like, yeah, that's not how she would want to decorate the room given the choice, but like she's kind of being repressed into this specific kind of bland aesthetic.
There's also a money aspect, right?
Yeah.
How many people stay in this bed and breakfast?
Yeah.
So I like also, especially with Maxime and Vida, there's a lot of money in what they're wearing. And also, makeup is not cheap. Custom shoes are not cheap. Competing in drag pageants is not cheap. And we don't hear about them having jobs. And so they might make their money off of drag performances. But there is a little bit of that where it's like, not only are we city slickers, we're rich city slickers. And we're in your town, which is not have a lot of money circulating. And the room you gave us is ugly.
Yeah. Because this is my favorite scene in the movie, is them decorating the room.
Yeah.
Because I like that the movie just takes on like a supernatural vibe for like 1 minute, where there's like, girls, we gotta beautify this room, and like it's basically like Patrick Swayze will like grab a blanket out of his suitcase. How they fit all of this into their suitcases?
They had a ton of suitcases.
They have a ton of suitcases, but it's like an obscene amount of things. And they're just like, he will like throw the blanket at a wall and it will magically
That was a dress. Did you see that?
The dress, yeah.
Yeah, so and they're decorating with their own stuff, which was interesting. Because like it wasn't so far as like they're going to pull out a chaise.
Yeah.
Right? But it is scarves and clothes and things that they already had. And so they like soften and redecorate the room to their liking. And I do think there is something to be said where it's like, the idea of, okay, well, this is what we're doing. We're going to make it home.
Yeah.
That isn't always, right? That does not align with the Protestant, like, work and suffer.
Yeah.
And like, the joy is not what's going to bring you enlightenment. It's like, no, the joy is going to bring me enlightenment. I'm going to put a silk scarf over this lamp.
Because it's just specifically when he like throws it and it just
and it just
magically forms on the wall.
When she does the little nose wiggle from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or no, it's
Bewitched.
Bewitched. Thank you. And the light comes on.
I find it so much fun when a movie just has the gumption and has like the confidence in itself.
Just a little bit of magical realism as a treat.
Just to suddenly for like one scene be like, we're just going to imply that they might be witches. And it's not important to the movie, but it's going to be really fun for the scene.
It's not coming up again, but it would be kind of cool.
Yeah. And it's just like, it has like a certain degree of, magic to the filmmaking in that respect. But that's just like a scene that just really gave me a lot of joy this morning. Because now we're just kind of like in the town now.
Yeah, there's a bit of business going on in the town.
I think they each kind of break off into their own story. Chi-Chi has her romance with Bobby Ray, and then it's Vida kind of interacting with Carol Ann, and then Maxime getting to know, and I wish I knew her name, but the older woman of the town. And I thought
Clara.
it was Clara, which
Who
I thought was
we've met before, Jeff. The actress who plays Clara.
Yes, she is. She played the exact same role in Awakenings.
Yes.
Good for her.
It was Robin Williams, Robert De Niro movie. We covered Awakenings. She played like a catatonic person who
She's got that look down.
who couldn't speak, but could walk in just to say a straight line and had triggers to say certain things, which is the exact same role she plays.
It is the exact same role. It's very funny.
That is the funniest line in this movie is when Wesley Snipes is like chasing her down because she dropped the Robert Mitchum photo, and while he's running after her, she just she makes a U-turn, and Wesley Snipes goes, "Juice Papa Yui," as she's still chasing her down.
Well, what does Clara say like first thing as they're like in the middle of a conversation?
She's like,
about
you
something?
guys. She's talking about, so Maxime is talking about the movie timeline of an actress that she wants to portray in a biopic, and she's like, oh, and I don't remember the name of that movie, and she jumps in with the name of the movie because she loves movies. Her husband ran the movie theater.
Yeah.
And so they start talking about that.
And Maxima almost like misses the first one. And it's
Yeah.
like, thank you. And then, wait a minute. Did you just say something?
And it becomes like you start kind of picking up what this movie's actually going to be about, which is them bringing color to this town that is very beige.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just find like the specific archetypes of the women in this town whose lives they change, I find really moving and affecting. Specifically, like this older, it's not just like it's a bunch of people who are boring that they're gonna fix, or like it's this older woman whose like husband died. Her way
He didn't die. He ran off with another woman. He ran off with an actress.
It's older woman whose husband left her, and the only thing she has left is like these literal mementos of the past.
Yeah.
Like that's just such a specific character type for this movie to engage with. It could just be an old woman who just wears a tan outfit and just doesn't dress up.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be accurate to these kinds of towns, right? The gossiping on the porch about she's been drinking since she could hold a bottle, and that boy has a stutter, right? I remember that.
That's what I just love about what I find so like effective about this movie is its specificity. That it takes the time to give all these women like realistic, believable, like roles to fill within the town.
And the men too.
And the men.
Bobby Ray and that little group of bullies.
Bobby Ray and then the 5 bully boys who
I know,
we will not engage with.
But they were so cute at the end because when they're doing the dancing shot and they move away, they're all holding each other, just standing in a line.
Boys.
And I was like, wow. I don't know. I thought that was very cute.
Yeah, I do like that the movie is wise to realize we can't really engage with these guys too much because they are going to do an attempted rape, but also we need them to like come along with the group later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of not ignoring the threat of living, but also not showing us the threat.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to see it. It's too painful. So
yeah, it has no place in the story they're telling at this point in the movie. Because the 3 women kind of like start settling into the grooves of the town.
And they hear about the Strawberry Social, I think.
Yes.
That is an annual thing they do.
it's the biggest event of the year.
Biggest event of the year. Jeff, I was almost going to say, is this the better version of Wild Hogs?
It's a very different version. There's no Ray Liotta chasing them down.
No, instead it's just Chris Penn chasing them down.
I was like, yeah, there's no Ray Liotta. I'm like, oh wait, no, they are getting chased down by someone, aren't they?
Ange, have you seen Wild Hogs?
No, and you can't make me.
Fair. Very fair. That is not a hill I want to die on. I'm making anybody watch Wild Hogs they don't want to.
It is a very similar story, though.
Is it good?
Well, it's like, because it's 4 middle-aged dads that, well, actually they're not all
It's a
dads,
movie for conservative fathers.
4 conservative fathers decide they want to like,
I'm interested.
they want to do one last like motor, because they're all bikers. They're part of like their own like Wild Hogs biker gang, but they feel like they're phonies. And so one of them, whose life is falling apart, initiates like, we should go on a road trip to California. And they live in Ohio, I think. And so they do this.
They live in Ohio, but there is like desert and cactuses surrounding their town in Ohio.
Yeah, they definitely shot it all in Albuquerque. Then they go on a road trip. They do like, they get all these adventures. They piss off a real biker gang who's led by Ray Liotta, rest in peace, who hunts them down. They run out of gas, so they find this small town in the middle of New Mexico where they each split off, get involved with each individual thing, and there's a hot chili festival happening that happens once a year that they get involved in. And then the biker gang shows up and the entire town unites against them.
When does
This is the woke version of that.
Yeah. when did Wild Hogs come out?
2008.
Okay, thieves. Okay, robbing. Okay, stolen.
Fun fact, I have one of the sets that they were in. It was like a diner
Maggie's
set,
Diner.
which was in a real place in New Mexico, is still standing. It is now a gift shop in memoriam for the film.
Did you go?
I actually went there.
How was it?
It was all right. I mean, like, because like they built it and they like gutted it out, but the owner of the land requested like the production company to leave like the building. They still gutted it. So like, when they build like fake movie buildings, they don't insulate it. They don't actually like wire it. They don't put plumbing. So he had to do all that stuff. It's like himself. But it, like, you see the skeletal remains of like, it has still had like that classic bar where people would get like milkshakes and stuff. And you see like where the booths would have been, but other than that,
it's just malted?
It's just a gift shop. Yeah,
Nice.
But the town that it's in is like, you talk about ghost town. It is a ghost town.
I've long been promising on this show the road trip episode in which Stuart and I will pick a location from one of these movies and drive to it.
Listen, I've actually fallen through on my
and Stuart then Stuart just went to Maggie's Diner.
To be fair, my dad and I, this was the road trip we were going to Arizona, and so and I looked at it and I was like, Dad, because my dad and I have seen Wild Hogs, and he was actually a guest on the Wild Hogs episode.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And so I was like, it would only add an hour and a half to our trip.
It would only add an hour and a half to your trip. Wow.
Go to Maggie's Diner.
My current pitch is Stuart and I drive to Florida, do the mummy ride that Brendan Fraser is in once, and then get back in the car and drive back.
No, you're missing a key detail there.
Oh, we stop at John Travolta's house.
Well, we have to go to Clearwater, Florida.
Where the Scientologists are.
It's the town the Scientologists have taken over, and John Travolta has an airport like 20 minutes away from
it. Does have an airport.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, I'm just saying, I think To Wong Fu, thanks for everything. Julie Newmar is a better version of Wild Hogs.
Yes.
The cop wakes up.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about was in the town as they're all interacting, they're kind of reintroducing femininity. all of these women get to be feminine in a new and fun way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that I've been seeing people talk about in today's day and age on like the importance of trans women in our community, of like the community of women needs to include trans women. Somebody had a really interesting story where they were explaining to their mother what trans women were, and she started crying because she didn't believe anybody would ever want to be a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was thinking about that a lot when I was watching this movie, because I was thinking how tough it is to be those women, right? You're under so many standards. You're also getting abused by your husband, right? You have to look and act a certain way, but the way you have to look and act isn't even any fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then meeting somebody who not only chose to do what you already have, like to be what you already are, but then to do it in a way that is fun and interesting and exciting, where it's like every day you wake up and go, this is what I want.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
exciting and beautiful to me.
Yeah.
I think it really, I don't know, I start crying.
Yeah.
Sue me.
Oh, that's a good insight.
It's like it's affirming to these women's open femininity is affirming to the women that have this closeted femininity that they're finally starting to let out.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
encouragement of these women, the support of these women.
Yeah. And then also that it doesn't, that it can be something that excites you. Like you don't have to do it if it isn't fun.
It's not just an obligation to do the
Yeah.
Strawberry Social. The Strawberry Social can be a fun event.
Yeah.
With color and design to it that you can all be a part of.
Yeah.
Which is very very nice.
Yeah.
This movie's just nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I want everyone to know that speaking of all this stuff, I opened my phone to see what the notification I just got was, and it was a New York Times notification that says, Donald Trump says he wants to be the fertilization president. And I will continue no further from that.
That's New York Times said that?
New York Times just wanted us to know that Donald Trump says he will be the fertilization president. That just was so, it was just such a...
Brother, this guy stinks!
It was just such a shocking sentence for me to look at that I had to expunge.
You guys really don't like talking about movies on here, do you?
So they're in...
How are we supposed to continue?
I'm going to try.
That was just a thing that I had to say.
Dig us out of this hole.
But they're in the town, and I'm trying to think, like, because they kind of split up to three, like, because Vita kind of locks in with Carol Ann, whereas Naxim kind of goes off with the Strawberry Social prep.
But also Clara, specifically Clara.
And Clara. And specifically with Clara. And then Chi-Chi kind of winds up with Billy...
Bobby Ray.
Bobby Ray, not Bobby Lee.
That was the toughest part of the movie for me. I feel like I maybe didn't need age clarification. I maybe would have liked a little bit more age clarification. And also, I don't think I understood why that couldn't work. Like, I don't know. I felt like Chi-Chi is someone who is really lost. And then to be like, oh, I'm in love with somebody here, I want to stay. And for them to be like, no, there's another girl who likes him, right? Like that. So the for our listeners who haven't seen the movie, Bobby Ray is a guy and he's in love with Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is a drag queen. They're falling in love. And the eldest daughter of Carol Ann is also in love with Bobby Ray, because there's like 5-6 eligible bachelors and 5 of them are the worst.
5 of them suck.
Yeah. So Bobby Ray's a hot commodity. And then at some point in the movie, Chi-Chi, I think they cut it, which is super interesting. Like I was expecting to see this, but Chi-Chi tells Bobby Ray, I think, that she's a drag queen, and he says, I'm not interested. And it must be somewhat amicable because they exist together again in like groups. And then they get Bobby Joe ready to meet Bobby Ray, and he falls in love with her. I felt like that made no sense to me. And there were definitely ways to do that where it might have made more sense.
Yeah,
but it was cute. It was interesting.
This is where I think the movie runs into we were talking about earlier, where it feels like a story about trans women using the facade of drag queens.
Yeah.
Because at this point, like, if Bobby Ray and Chi-Chi are developing like a real relationship together.
Yeah.
And Vita's the one who has to kind of get in there and be like,
Vita like really goes in hard on Chi-Chi about it.
Well, because I think she'd been doing so much, because she'd been having so many conversations with Bobby Joe where it was like, if you like think about it, if you manifest it, it'll happen. Like if this boy is really important to you.
Yeah.
And it also, I think, to be fair, is like you're not staying.
Yeah.
You're a drag queen. A day ago, they were going to kill us.
Yeah.
You are not, and also she's been saying this whole time, like, you drop me off at the next town and I'm going to take a bus somewhere else. And it's like, what are you doing? Right? Like, you're acting crazy and like, we're not going to disrupt this town in that way. And this boy is not going to date you. You are a man.
Yeah, because I think like the dramatic tension here becomes like, whereas Vita and Naxim have a certain level of confidence in themselves as gay men who do drag, Chi-Chi is still dealing with this central idea of like, maybe Chi-Chi just identifies more as a woman. Like that's kind of what I feel from her character.
Yeah.
Is that she feels like, because she's genuinely falling in love with this boy and like starting to really just be like, I'm Chi-Chi. Like, I think this can work. I can fall in love with him in this guy's. Like, I think that she's really struggling with that identification of maybe I just identify more as a woman. That's what I feel from her story.
I don't feel like I can discredit that. I feel like that could be true. I like the whole plot point of it doesn't make sense to me. I feel like if you are as in love as those two are saying, like, and it's like, hey, actually, I'm a guy, and it's like, oh, whoops,
Yeah.
never mind. It's like, okay, well, how about this woman who looks nothing like me? It's like, as far as I know, and you guys can tell me different, I don't think boys work like that, where you can just be like, oh, not me. Well, how about
Her.
a blonde woman?
It is like kind of like a weird like rebound effect going on there. Even though like he's not the one rejecting Chi-Chi, but it is like.
But is he right? Because we also don't see it,
Right, but I see what you're saying. The way they like bring it up for Bobby Lee just feels inorganic.
It's really I think I looked up from the movie, and me and my partner was working at the dining room table, and I was like, they've lost me on this. Like, this is a little too sappy, a little too fast. And I was like, well, maybe it's the next day. And I'm like, it's not. They're wearing the same clothes. This happened within the span of a few hours.
The thing is, like, it definitely like has that. This happened very quick, and like was missing a beat emotionally to make it work.
Yeah, I wonder if they shot it and cut it. Or, I bet what happened is it didn't work because it wasn't working.
But the payoff to it, like, still really sung for me, because it's just that incredible shot, just like spinning, showing all of the lives that they've changed and affected.
Oh yeah, where they?
Yeah.
I'm jumping a little. I mean, there's really.
I don't think you're
It's
jumping
mostly
ahead.
just
I
like
think we're there.
It's mostly just like business that happens with all the other people in the town. It's like, we're gonna dress in colorful clothes.
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna
found these cool clothes.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you this book, right? Like,
Blythe
embrace.
Danner is gonna date her high school sweetheart, who they just never acknowledged their feelings for each other.
I think it was because it was an interracial.
Interracial relationship.
So that's super exciting, right? It's like, well, if this is okay, maybe this is okay, right? And it is like they pan out, and all the guys that I was talking about, the little group of bullies, are all dressed in fun clothes, and they're like kind of swaying together, and it's like, yeah, and then they're like up, in the sky like angels dancing along.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful. I mean, that scene's really beautiful, not earned, but lovely.
Like, I think like it's one of the situations where like the sum is greater, or the I'm forgetting the fucking sentence.
The whole is greater than the
whole
sum
is
of the
greater than the
parts.
sum of the parts, but I don't even say the whole. Like, the result is greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah,
like that specific scene pays off all of these storylines in such a beautiful way that even if I like didn't feel like the storyline fully worked, I'm still like, this is just kind of a beautiful payoff that like this town has light and color and joy in it again. And you get to directly see them standing over it watching this.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really beautiful scene. And while this is happening, our cop is going around
Looking for...
I really liked, I mean, obviously I don't love him as a character, but I think the role he played was so funny.
When he like has this little checklist.
The list
of,
where homos could be.
yeah, places where homos could be, and it's like
my God.
beauty parlor, movie theater, like,
Flower shop,
antique store. It's
a cafe for brunch.
cafe for brunch. It's like the funniest like cutaway.
Why isn't he wrong? Right? Like, I had plans today to get brunch and go to an antique store, and I watched this movie, and I was like, "Oh, you would have got me!" Like,
it's just like the fact that it's like scribbled in like poor handwriting, and I don't have
big
good
handwriting, which
but
I
it's, like,
love, taking up the whole page.
taking up the whole page. There's like places where homos could be.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, I also think the scene where he's getting interviewed, where he's trying to, like, he goes to the police officers and he's like, "Hey, I was assaulted." All right. But he was like, "I was assaulted." And they're like, "You were assaulted by a girl?" He's like, "No, it was a man dressed as a girl." And they laugh him out. I mean, I do think, like, on the one hand, super sad they didn't believe him. On the other hand, he deserved it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, crazy that, like, a woman can't beat up a man, right? This is a police officer. Like, that should be really scary. On the other hand, when he walks out and he goes, "You'll see I'm going to come in here with 3 corpses and then you'll know." And it's like, this happens.
Yeah.
This happens all the time. A man's
Frequently.
pride gets hurt, right?
And
then
he takes it out in violence.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, right? Because pride is so important, right? It's the
Pride leads to prejudice.
Okay.
In theaters again now.
Like, I don't get me started on that movie. But like when people say the patriarchy doesn't benefit either party, right? We're kind of seeing how it doesn't benefit women a lot. But that was a good example of like, that man is not in a good position because of the patriarchy, right? Like that of the system of you need to be strong. You can't get beat up by a girl. Girls are weaker. And it's like the only way that I can prove this is through the violence that is enacted by the system every day.
Yeah.
And it's like, we wonder, you know, we think, we ponder.
To Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. I respect your game.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know your game was so tough.
To Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
I was dying at the scene of him in the bar. It's like,
Yeah.
and again, if for our listeners who haven't heard it, he's sitting at the bar, so pissed off. He can't find them. And he's like, it's just so crazy. You know, 2 men kissing, holding hands, running their big manly hands through swirls of chest hair, like bulging muscles, holding each other tightly. And you can see no one else says anything, but like the other 2 patrons at the bar are looking at him like,
Yeah.
is this guy gonna snap and start kissing?
Is he gonna start? He's like,
And he's got the shoe next to him. It's like just men as girls, beautiful, dressed as women with soft lips.
it's a smart observation because like he exists as like this avatar of impotent rage, but also like he's got It's like a very smart observation that he's grappling with the idea that he was very sexually attracted to Vita to find out she was a man.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of going
Well,
through.
also, right, when you've built up a dam and you get a crack, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that man pushed me so hard I got knocked out, was also looking really beautiful and sexually attractive. And it's like, if this is possible,
I don't know what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
is it jealousy? Is it like, do I want to be this person? Do I want to have sex with this person? Do I just hate this person? Right? Like all of those emotions are on, the bell curve goes all the way down again. So yeah, he's sitting there pondering that. And I think he sells it. I buy it. I buy it so hard.
yeah.
Genuinely want to say it's an incredible performance.
I wish it was a little bit longer so I could do it as a
Penn.
monologue, right?
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
would be such a funny, like, not comedic monologue to do for an audition, but it would be so funny to do for like a competition where you're sitting and you like flash the list behind you in the thing and then you crumple it in your hand. You're like, men with long, beautiful legs. Like if you could really do it, I think it would be
it's
so
like borderline
funny.
Agent Smith. It's like almost like men living their lives. It's like that's almost where he's getting.
Living their dumb gay lives with their dumb gay hands and jaws.
He's like, wait, where can the homos be? I'm going.
Wait, I gotta find those
But
men.
at this bar, he comes across Virgil, who we skipped over. Virgil like is beating up Clara or Carol Ann.
Yes, he's an
And-
abusive husband. We see it a few times from him.
And it's such a great scene where Vita like decides to go intervene, and you don't see what happens. Or you see that Vita slaps him back once.
No, and then she punches him.
Is it a punch?
It's a
Because
slap.
it cuts
it's a
away.
Slap, it's a slap, and then it's a backhanded slap,
Yeah.
and she's got rings.
because it cuts outside of the room where Chi-Chi and Noxiem are with Carol Ann,
and she's
it
like
it does.
crying, like,
Well, Caroline's like, he's gonna hurt her. He's gonna hurt her so
And you
bad.
hear like
and they're
Looney
like,
Tunes style, like happening.
And they're like, we need to tell you something. Vita works out
yeah,
a
yeah.
ton. She's fine. And then he gets tossed out.
Yeah. And he gets like tossed out and be not a scratch on her.
No.
yeah,
And she basically tells him like, get out down.
never come back here. Which, like, is he the one fixing their car still?
I mean, he's the one waiting for the part.
Carol Ann fixes it the next
Right,
day.
I know Carol Ann fixes it the next.
Yeah.
It was just, that was like a quick moment in my head
It
of like,
would have been
wait a
him
minute.
fixing it when the part came.
Yeah.
But the part didn't come, I don't think. And they just were able to fix it on their own.
He was scamming them all along.
He was a ripoff.
Shocker.
Mechanics scamming women? What?
But
That never
A
happens.
trope that doesn't make sense.
Have
Why
you
would they
seen
put
like
that
the
in?
bit where like it's this girl like filming like her dad and be like, Dad, like I took my car to the shop and they said I have low tire pressure. He's like, yeah, it's like so like, but don't worry, it wasn't that expensive. I got it fixed for $80. The dad's just like soul ties eternally. He's like, what?
So that we basically are at the day of the Strawberry Social. Right.
Yes. Virgil and the cop meet at the
Yeah,
bar.
they meet at the
And then
bar.
we cut to the Strawberry Social.
It does do a very dramatic like, I'm looking for the owner of this shoe, and Virgil like kind of like picks up the shoe, and then
it
it just
cuts
like cuts
away.
to black.
Yeah, it fades, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's like a very interesting fade to black,
Dun,
and it's like
dun,
the tension of it.
Yeah.
But we're at the Strawberry Social. The three girls are getting ready.
Mhm.
And we're intercutting with like the rest of the town, like kind of putting the tables out and the decorations up. Meanwhile, we're cutting to the cop car ripping down the country roads, heading for the town. The confrontation brewing.
Yeah.
Cop pulls up, and I'm kind of in awe of this cop's stamina because he's like driving around the town. He's like, bring out the homos.
Gets out a
More or less his
megaphone
vibe.
and is just like, I'm gonna be here all day. See,
When
this is like the Wild Hogs bit where Ray Liotta is like, Wild Hogs, you burned down our bar. Like,
What I
it's
like
the exact same
is the
scene.
back and forth cut of him getting out of the car with the megaphone. He has a shotgun in his hand. Cut back to the girls watching him. And they're like, uh-oh. Cut back. He's now standing on the upper balcony of a building.
Like, how fast did he get up there?
He crawled from the
It's
outside.
like seemingly it took him under 10 seconds to get to the top of this building.
He just jumps. He's like got like legs.
Yeah.
Just legs.
He's got legs like a bucket of chicken.
What is interesting, he's like, bring out the men in dresses. And you see Bobby Ray go, men in dresses?
Yeah.
So that, like, what does that mean,
Yeah.
right? I was mad about that, but that's okay.
My favorite thing this movie does, I'll talk about when we get to it because we're almost there. But he's,
I think we're there, right?
Well, yeah, what is
it's
it?
what happens right after the confrontation.
Oh.
Because like he's asking for the men in dresses, and you see this shot of Vita wearing a red dress, and she like starts walking out of the room.
Beautiful. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The
with veil
implication
down,
being
yeah.
that Vita is going to go confront him, and then like you see a woman in a red dress with a veil walk out and just head right over to the sheriff, and he's getting ready to shoot her.
Kind of a haunting image.
Which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Of everybody walking out to see it.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like kind of popping out, and then the woman pulls back her veil, and it's Carol Ann
Yeah.
in beautiful drag makeup, and she's basically just like, I'm the drag queen. And then like a full fucking Spartacus scene.
That's what I was about
the
to
whole
say.
town,
The Spartacus
the
scene.
whole town comes up. And says,
But
I am a drag queen.
What was super interesting was that like they walk up and what's her name? Clara. Clara comes up and goes, that shoe belongs to me. And he goes, you're a drag queen? And she goes, nothing this pretty can be real, right? They've all learned that
Yeah,
like New York drag lingo.
Yeah.
And someone else is like, that's mine, size 10, custom, right? Like Versace, right? Like they know. And then someone else was like, well, if they're drag queens, that makes me a drag king. It's like, actually, that shoe's for me, right? They know how to needle this guy, right? And he's like, that can't be right. And they're like, get out of here,
Get out of
turn your
town.
khaki ass back home, right? But they like none of these people could do that before, and they could do it now, and that was super cute.
Like, you'll all regret this. And then he just drives away.
Well, there's nothing he can do
Right.
because he's,
By himself.
Yeah, I do. Our founding, his last line is, our founding fathers, if they had known, like when they said freedom and liberty for all, they didn't mean these people. And then the guy goes, oh, you know what I'll say about the founding fathers? They sure had fabulous wigs.
wigs.
Yeah.
And the hat flick, the marriage of the like rural, quiet insult to the like liberal New York, I would say. Like, I don't know, beautiful stuff.
That was a great little moment. They had
Like-
fabulous wigs.
My favorite detail in this whole movie is that Vita tries to confess to Carol Ann, and Carol Ann just goes, "Adam's apple. You have an Adam's apple."
That's another famous line I'd seen before.
I just love that because you expect that like you're just waiting this whole movie for like the reveal scene, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And I just love that basically all the women in the town knew from the beginning that these were drag queens,
Yeah.
and they were all just like,
Cool with
"We
it.
accept you." I just think that's such a beautiful notion.
Yeah.
Such beautiful that the movie doesn't feel the need to have to like wring dramatic tension where there doesn't need to be any.
Yeah.
From it's such a beautiful like we were all aware and we were fine with it and we continue to be fine with it.
Yeah, we knew and we thought you were weird, and then
Yeah.
we overcame it. We didn't
Yeah.
think you were weird because you were wearing like fancy clothes. We thought you were weird for that other reason, but then
Yeah.
we figured it out and it was fine.
It's like such a beautiful little moment, and I think Swayze plays it so well.
Yeah.
I feel like I've
Yeah.
kind of glossed over. Like I just think Swayze is so remarkable in this
No,
movie.
he's perfectly cast and it's perfectly done. Like he really does kill it.
Yeah, like he's just so really just sells this moment and just like, you know, because at the beginning of the movie he doesn't get that acceptance from his mother, and that's the thing he's been lacking his entire life. And at this moment, like he gets that acceptance
Oh
from
my
someone
god,
else.
when he's leaving, when Vita's leaving and talking to Carol Ann, he goes, "Come with us," and she's
Yeah.
like, "I can't tell you how long I've wanted to hear those words, but I can't."
Yeah,
And then she says, "I love you, Vita," and he's like, "I've been waiting to hear those words for so long."
yeah.
God damn it.
I can't believe she didn't go with because she has kids, but I'm like, I hope she goes. She finds them when she's ready to go, right? Like when her
Yeah.
kids are grown.
Yeah. It's like Sam going to the Undying Lands like 40 years after Frodo, finally.
Yeah.
In Tu Wong, Tu Fu. So we're going to call it the sequel. Anyway, but I just think Swayze like really just, and the actress playing Carol Ann, the acceptance he finally feels in his life.
No, it's so beautiful.
It's just like,
it's so beautiful.
It's so fabulous. And I just love that this movie is willing to like have that kind of nice resolution.
Yeah, and they shower them with gifts when they're leaving. And it's like, I want you to wear this when you compete. It was my mother's, and she was like broader in the shoulders. I think it'll fit you. Like there's the love. And then they go and they compete in the drag competition. It's beautiful.
They compete in the drag competition.
The outfits were crazy. Costume design on this one was wild, but the outfits at the very end were wild too.
Chi-Chi wins, which is beautiful.
It makes me so mad. You know why that makes me so mad? It didn't win in the New York competition. She doesn't have a spot. You can't like imagine if I went to a state competition, they're like, "Oh, so you won regionals?" It's like, "No, but I competed." It's like, "No.
That doesn't
Kid
count.
competed finals.
No, go away." But I know that like you wanting to wrap up that story and give her like, and you don't want to pick between, they couldn't tie again. So I understand that it like makes sense narratively, but it was, it made me upset. But we do see her right as a full-fledged drag queen now that's found her confidence, and they all have the flower-themed dresses because everybody's
Yeah.
in flower themes.
Her
which
style
is
is definitely like grown and developed like throughout, from where we saw her at like the very beginning of the scene versus like the outfit and her look at the very end.
her outfits were my least favorite kind of by far. But I also think that she's pulling from like New York Hispanic culture, right?
Yeah.
The way that Naxim is pulling from like Black Harlem culture, and then Vita's pulling from suburban Philadelphia, like that
Yeah.
high society lady, right? There's a lot
Diane
of different
Wiest
ways.
core.
Yeah, there's a lot of different
Yeah.
ways to be feminine. So you're playing a lot of different roles.
Yeah.
Stuart, the Diane Weiss chat on the Birdcage is going to go crazy.
Good.
Hope you're ready for it.
Okay.
But
Who's doing the birdcage?
Scott.
Oh, right. Because I think I asked for the birdcage.
Scott was the first person I booked for this.
I feel like
this
Scott
series.
would have liked this movie. He didn't want to do To Wong Fu Thanks for Everything, Julie
I
Newmar.
don't think he knew what it was. I'll be honest with you.
L, his laws.
I'll tell him about it next time I see
Scott, if you're listening, watch To Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Well, you don't need to. We described the whole movie.
him. Just to listen to
fair.
the entire plot
Yeah.
description. But the final frame of the movie is Julie Newmar herself giving
Crowning.
Chi-Chi.
Yeah.
Do you
the
know
crown.
why she had that cameo? She came to visit set.
That's so nice.
Yeah, and then they said, "Do you want to be in the movie? We'll schedule it for you."
Fuck yeah.
And like, I like that, she gets to, if she's like the patron saint, that she gets to be the one who literally puts the crown on her at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of having that like that same moment, 90s freeze frame on Julie Newmar's face, cut to black, directed by yada yada.
There is a very quiet religious sentiment to this movie, which I think is really interesting. But it's so quiet. Like you couldn't write a paper. You could write a sick paragraph, but not a full paper on it.
Because I think that Stuart, you brought this up during the context corner, but like where the writer was basically saying like, I'm trying to find this quote. Wong Fu is a metaphor for God because you have to thank God for everything. You have to be grateful for life. You have to stop where you are and say thank you for everything. I put a scene in where this character provided context of this idea, but it was deleted from the movie. And so like, there's this kind
I
of
think
this
that was fine though. It's like I don't know if I needed any more context to the.
I don't think you need it, but it does
It's cute. Yeah.
It has this nice idea that like it's like they're meeting their patron saint at the end, and
Yeah.
she kind of like validates their whole journey.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's nice to see a movie from this era that's just like is a celebration of drag queens.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't try and be this like Andrew brought up earlier, like experiencing trauma through films, like reliving it. That it doesn't.
It was honest, but it wasn't overzealous.
Yeah. Like it has, certain moments of tension, but it's not trying to be that. It's trying to be a celebration of this way of life. Mm-hmm. It's much like, Sinners, which is currently lighting up the box office. You can time when we record this episode based on me saying this. It's like that movie is so much a celebration of like the black music experience. Mm-hmm. And obviously the movie has, violence in it. But there's such a marked difference in telling a story that's just like a celebration and telling like an honest story that's about the troubles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a place for both, but it's nice to just see, an underrepresented community in film have a movie that is just purely representational.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something that
And yes, it's three straight actors playing the roles, but
right. Well, I think something that like one of my takeaways watching this film, and I don't know, maybe like people might disagree, but what I really liked a lot about this is like I think there's another version of this movie, and we've seen versions of this movie for different cultures and different people across all different differences, and it's the category of like They Are People 2 movies.
yeah.
And I don't feel like this is a They Are People 2 movies. It just has that at the start. Mm-hmm. It's like this whole movie is not a lesson to teach you that drag queens are people too. Like they just are.
Yeah.
And that's like the tone we're gonna go this movie with.
This movie expects you to come into it
Yeah.
and be like, you are aware that drag queens are people, and we're just going to treat them like people.
Yeah.
We're not going to make a point of it.
Yeah. And I value that a lot in this movie. I think that it was really great to just like start off with that kind of tone. And like, yeah, they have like conflicts and trials throughout with discrimination and things like that in this movie. But I think that's not so much like a lesson to be like reflecting that onto the audience watching it, but rather just to kind of point out the ridiculousness of it all. Like the cop is so over the top, goofy, funny that like we're laughing at him rather than be like, oh, like maybe that's me, or you know what I mean? But yeah.
That's interesting. When I was watching The Cop, I felt that it was too realistic.
Interesting.
I felt like that was maybe the toughest part of the movie for me. It was a little too honest,
like
at what that looks like.
I feel like
The stuff at the bar was funny as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but
I feel like as the ideas the cop represents in the movie have become less mainstream over the intervening like 30 years, that certain degree of like zealotry in those beliefs has become more comical in real life or like over the top in real life. And I think that's kind of like led to this weird meeting in the middle where like in the 90s, like, you know, not
the cop probably would have been like realistic.
The cop would have just been like probably a realistic cop who that was a pretty mainstream view that drag queens are weird and we should just kind of laugh at them.
Yeah, but the cop doesn't have a view that drag queens are weird and we should laugh at them. It's an insult to my manhood that you're dressing as a woman.
Yes.
I'm going to kill you.
But
And that does, to be fair, even if it ever did die down, it's certainly on the upswing now.
Yes. That's where I think like those ideas, as they become more challenged, as like drag queen culture and trans culture become more mainstream, come into the mainstream more, that these far right belief systems have become more violent and ridiculous. I don't mean ridiculous as in like ha ha ha, but like ridiculous in their scope. That's like kind of led to this feeling more realistic to a modern situation where it was like purely probably intended to be very comical in the 90s. Like I feel like the type of like alt-right types you encounter on the internet now are so much more insane and over the top than any, far right type you would find in any sort of media in the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
I think just things have become more polarized, and it's led to fringe, characteristics becoming more prominent. Not to end on a down note.
Are we ending on this?
No,
I
just
think
because I think we finished the plot of the movie.
Yeah, I think
It's like end the plot of the movie.
No, just to get into like the post-text of when the movie was released.
Because I was reading the reviews, it was
mixed.
pretty mixed.
Yeah.
I know Ebert was not a fan of the predictability. Siskel was a bigger fan. I know their performances, like the actor performances, were praised worldwide. Not like everybody loved how the actors did it. It was more a comment on the script.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and we kind of litigated like our thoughts on like, I think Angie made a good earlier point about like predictability, sure, but like again, like that's only because we get all these predictability stories for our culture, and we don't get a lot of that for LGBT. So. But it comes out. It's released on September 8th, 1995. The reported budget is $30 million. I guess like thinking $30 million, like I'm wondering like it didn't feel like a $30 million movie. I don't see that in a good way or a bad way.
Makeup or clothing, and also remember dragged out schedule.
Yeah. It grosses $47.8 million, so it made like a small little profit.
Do we know what their marketing budget was?
I mean, the rule of thumb is usually like just like pretty much like 50 to 100% on top of what it is. So like 15 to 30 million marketing.
Yeah, so they either broke even or...
Yeah, it seems like they probably like at best broke even for this movie. Yeah. I mean, like also under like the contextual lens of like, a $30 million movie of this scale and of this like topic at hand, like for it to break even and make any money at all is quite awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, like we talked about a lot of the mixed reviews. I'm trying to think of there's other things to talk about post-text wise.
This movie, it didn't like make a huge splash when it came out. Obviously, Swayze and Leguizamo get Golden Globe nominations, but not Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
No, not Oscar nominations?
No, just Golden Globe.
Really?
But then the thing is, this movie has developed a cult following. And, for being the first mainstream production to depict drag queens. In 2019, it got a Blu-ray release. It was like its first home video release since a VHS. And with that came a lot of like retrospective love, and there were several articles written about it. And that it just kind of has found this rediscovery in recent years. Particularly among like drag queen communities, but even more so just like in a general sense, people are like rediscovering this movie. Like the Blu-ray release had so much to do with that. I'm trying to find this one article that I had pulled up.
Well, you also have to remember
how America fell in love with Wong Fu.
In 1995, if you were 10 or 20 years older than us, you were either 5 or like 15 when that was coming out. So that means you would have like, how old was this? People be like 30 or 40 now, which is what a lot of drag queens are, like, kind of who we consider like top drag queens right now.
Yeah.
So it's probably really, like I would imagine this was something that people watched and were like, oh, I didn't even know. Right. And then it's an important building block in that story.
Yeah. Fun fact, same year as the O.J. Simpson trial. Sorry. Just wanted to throw that out there.
A lot of things happened the same year as the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah. Anywho, I don't know. I guess like any final thoughts? Is there any more post text?
I think I like. I mean, there's like Andrew brought up earlier. There's a musical adaptation of it that was written in 2017 and finally premiered on Broadway in 2023.
Premiered in West End.
West End.
Yeah,
it's in West End, isn't it?
it's in West End, isn't it?
Isn't it? I just think it's just nice. This is one of those many movies that like I'll talk about that it's really nice that we get to cover on this show. Mm-hmm. Like when we pick a subject for the show, like obviously we know we're going to cover Hook, we know we're going to cover Birdcage, you know you're going to get Good Will Hunting. It's nice to discover movies like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just have like a kind of transformative power to them. Mm-hmm. That have a cultural value that you and I probably just like would not have come across for a long time, if ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie does not have its place in like the annals of movie history. I don't think it does anything really creative or anything super crazy with the like cinematography, right? I don't felt like there was never a point where I was like, wow, that lighting is insane, right? But for a piece of art, I think it's really fantastic. I gave it 4 stars, I think, on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I think it's like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah,
it's like in that range. I think it's quite good.
might be at 7, 3.5, because the like Chi-Chi's character, I just feel like they missed. Like there's some stuff there I really felt like they missed.
Yeah,
but I would be, I think 3.5 out of 5, 7 out of 10.
That's about where
I feel
I'm at.
Pretty solid there.
Like I think it has a lot of importance and value as a piece of representation and as a piece of art about representation and the value of it. And I think that it deserves to be seen and continue to be talked about and remembered. Unlike some of the slop we have to cover on this show.
Yeah. Of which there are lots.
What do you think, Stuart?
Good 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Oh, solid 7s all around.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I rarely come in here.
7s.
Oh no, I was gonna say Bolt, because I was gonna say it's rare I come in here with like a really conflicting opinion to you guys, but you and I like decked it out on Bolt.
Yeah, I mean, I think the dog should have died at the end of Bolt, and I know a lot of people disagree with that, and that's okay.
Did you ever get anybody other than me disagreeing with that?
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, my partner in the next room over vehemently disagrees with me on that.
The dog should not have died.
No.
Yeah, and I got Jeff here who disagrees with me, but yeah, I think a strong movie, either or, slightly stronger if the dog dies at the end.
To Wong,
I get it that like
fundamentally perfect.
Bolt's not Disney.
Yeah.
It's,
No problems with that.
yeah, what?
To Wong Fu did not need a dog to die at the end.
To Wong Fu did not need a dying dog at the end.
This is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. No dogs, no kids in this movie.
Yeah.
Kind of nice.
But yeah, I liked the movie. It was a pleasant watch. And especially like, as Jeff said, like, you know, it's the beauty of this podcast that, you know, we get to cover movies like this that otherwise like probably would not have landed on like my radar in particular for quite a long time. Not in a way like obviously like to not be avoiding movies like this, but just like it.
No, yeah, but you guys would watch a lot of movies, but there's only so many. You have a limited amount of time, and there's a lot of movies out there.
And it's great to have this podcast that like opens us up to like movies like this, and then very just like the research into the pre-text and post-text of this movie, I think is especially valuable as well. So yeah. Good stuff.
I think that's it. Unless anyone else
No,
I
think we've covered. I had all my notes. I checked.
That about
thank you
does
guys.
it. About
Thank you guys
sums
have,
it up.
Okay.
Sorry, keep going.
Well, I was gonna say thank you for having me, but now I'm not gonna say that. Right? Like it was. I wish I could say it was a pleasure. No, it was very nice. I love coming on this podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you again. Is this my 6th, 5th?
4th, I think.
Oh,
because you did a Travolta, a Fraser, a Winona.
I did a Travolta. I did the Travolta special.
You did do Gotti, so this is your 5th.
Yeah, it's
were in
the
Gotti.
5th,
I was in
'cause the
Gotti.
Guest count through is Ange is at 4, so this is your 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ange, thank you so much for coming on
Always
this
a
podcast. We will
pleasure.
have you again for
Thank you.
for special number.
My first
movie number
time,
6.
my first time here, where I've made the decision to like do this for a living. So I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
And you'll be back again for Robin, your first time doing two, if you discount Gotti, first time doing 2 in a series.
Yes.
We'll see you again for
I'm hoping up by numbers.
We'll see you again by Happy Feet dose.
I'm doing Happy Feet 2.
You were doing Happy Feet 2, the good Happy
We
Feet.
expect the same amount of research and
Oh, more.
to come into
more.
it.
You're getting more from me.
All right.
But folks, if you like this episode, please remember to rate, comment, like, and subscribe on whatever platform you listen on, of which we are on many. As always, special thanks to Rebecca for the graphic design and Michael Babgo to Spit for the theme music that is now taking you out. See you all next week for Jumanji.